WCW sold out 1997. More like solely horse on this show. The first ever NW themed pay-per-view. Yeah, they did multiples of these. So there's NWO matches all throughout the show. There's ladder matches. There's a beauty pageant of some sorts, if you want to call it that. There's main event non-finishes. There's people getting run over with motorcycles. What the are we doing? We'll be getting to all of it and more right here on the Apron Bump Podcast.
It's the hardest. Talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what heart is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock this. Let's get started.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Apron Bump Podcast. I'm your host. The hardest part of the ring. How is everybody doing? We got a doozy on the way today. It's kind of a longer one. I don't know how it was so long. There was just so much tomfoolery to get into. So I'll keep this brief. But we got WCW sold out 1997. The first ever sold out of like 3 or 4 of them, which I think the podcast speaks for itself. There's a lot of parts of this show that I commend, that are actually very interesting, that are in ways entertaining. That being said, this show was a fucking disaster. It's fun talking about in retrospect, but watching this show was just a slog. Like I said, though, there are some good elements of it. We get a fun ladder match between Eddie Guerrero and Syxx, aka Sean Waltman, X-Pac. That's pretty much where the good parts end. There's Chris Jericho's here, that's fine. Steiner Brothers versus Outsiders, sure, whatever. The debut of Buff Bagwell. I can rattle off these matches. VK Wall Street's here for some. I can rattle off these matches. But I know you hit play on this bad boy for one reason and one reason only. And that's for Miss nWo, which... Jesus fucking Christ. Miss nWo. It is what is, I guess, fans applied to be a part of this, quote unquote. And we have this... Look, you know what? I don't want to be too duplicative of what we talk about in the show, but it couldn't have been more poorly planned, more poorly executed. It is not a good look in hindsight, or in, even putting yourselves in the shoes of the time. It was just bad all around. This show stunk. How much did it stink? Well, you're going to have to stay tuned to the end of the episode, where the hardest promotion battle of 1997 continues, where we have WWF, WCW, and ECW, and we see which company is doing the best at this point in time right here. Still, in the beginning of 1997, end of January. So a lot of year left, but we're following up Royal Rumble 1997, which has set the table for this year, which is not a high bar they set, but I don't even think the show cleared it. So that'll be fun. So make sure you stay tuned to the end. Like I said, we'll get into the worst, the best of the year so far, matches, segments, characters, pay-per-view quality, all of that stuff. And what are the stakes? Because everything needs stakes, right? You can't just have a competition for the sake of having a competition. What is at stake? Well, I could tell you, but I think I'd rather show you. That's right. I will purchase a championship belt of the winning company at the end of this year that we're covering, 1997, among the 3 companies. Whichever company wins, I'll buy a championship belt representing that company. And as you can see here, WWF won in 1996. We did a whole finale episode. That's on YouTube in the live section. So go check that out. That was a good old time. But you see here, shiny IC title, the old gold dust belt. Actually, I think his had like a gold strap on it. Am I making that up? I don't know. I have vague memories of Ahmed Johnson wearing that, and it's blending into his skin. But here, so what's going to go on this other shoulder? We'll just have to see. You'll have to follow along. And that continues, like I said, at the end of this episode. And on this episode, I had my boy Juss from the GETCHO podcast, returning to the show. Always a good hootin' tootin' good time with my boy Justin. You can check him and the GETCHO podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Him and his various guests, various hosts, talk a little bit of the wrestling. They do fun segments. They talk about the current stuff, all the major scuttlebutt going on in wrestling, some pop culture stuff mixed in there. Like I said, they do segments, they do rap battles, they do poetry, they do badminton, I think. There's a lot of good stuff going on at the GETCHO podcast. So go check it out at GETCHO Podcasts. All of the information will be in the description below. Hilarious show. I strongly suggest you go check it out. And yeah, with that, follow me, I guess, at Apron Bump. If you want, well, I have you here. Might as well, if you're watching this, you might as well follow me. Yeah, with that, let's get right into it, baby. WCW sold out 1997 with myself and Juss from the GETCHO podcast.
Unfortunately, no Hulk Hogan reference today. Well, kind of. Well, no Hulk Hogan reference. Hollywood Hogan reference.
So that's the loophole. We're good to talk Hollywood Hogan.
Because he is a man of loopholes, remember? Because it's not Terry Bollea on camera. It was Hulk Hogan on camera.
That's a really good point.
Should have had that sushi.
Well, the whole show is like black and white, so this one's not racist, right?
Well, I mean, there was a little Hispanic tidbit for Eddie Guerrero when he comes out.
Tidbit. I don't think that was him doing the voice, though.
It wasn't him. It was I think it's Nick Pubes.
Nick Pubes.
Is that his name? The voiceover for nWo?
I have no fucking idea. Nick Pubes.
I probably botched the name. It doesn't matter though. It doesn't matter.
I'm gonna type in Nick Pubes.
See what happens.
Okay.
See what happens.
That's not.
You're gonna get either a Manscaped ad or a For Hims ad.
So Nick's pubes. It's got a whole. Oh, it's from Big Mouth. That's a whole thing.
Hey,
that's a whole other episode in itself. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But speaking about Big Mouth, we both got to put our big mouths around this show. You know what I'm saying? Sucky, quack, quack.
Just like how some of the women for nWo nominees had some big mouths.
So I'm going to guess that this episode is 80% talking about Miss nWo. Because
that's why I'm here. I told you I watched the episode. I watched the show on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you I had to do some deep dive research. And that was my deep dive research, is to find out what all the contestants for the Miss nWo, what their occupation was, and how they get qualified to get in the Just Too Sweet beauty pageant.
Well, look, just a little tease. I may or may not already have that covered.
Oh,
so
did we? Are we just synced up like this?
I think
on the same wavelength.
We're docking. We're definitely docking,
dude. Dude,
you're uncircumcised, right?
I'm sorry.
So sold out, 1997, their first ever. So I can't believe they did multiples of these. By the way, this is the first one I've seen, and my good, or maybe you love the show. I don't know. Overall, what'd you think of Sold Out in 97?
Oh, I hate this.
Yeah,
right off the bat.
We are in the same lane. Okay.
This was horrible. I mean, could they have not picked a better metaphor than in the beginning of the show by riding on garbage trucks? Because this was complete trash. Basura.
I didn't even think that they told us what was coming.
I'm telling you.
It was
I know
arriving
they say
at
for
the arena.
life. I know they say for life, but that was foreshadowing.
Dude, man, this is why you come on here. You really pick it apart. You get the metaphors, the ethos, the pathos.
That's what I'm saying.
By the way,
I get the bumping. We get the bumping.
We're bumping all bump. You know, shout out
B2K.
Yeah. I almost said BTS. I was like, that's not right.
Ooh, no.
Um, but yeah, this is so sold out for anyone unaware. It's the first ever NWO themed pay-per-view. And I don't know, man. It's just not a good show. Like there's not much the NWO at this point. Because did you watch WCW back in the day? Were you like watching it live?
Yeah, so like I did keep up with the whole the Scott Hall and them, changing sides and Hogan doing his thing and NWO picking up and everything. Because I mean, it was everywhere. You see the shirt, so it's like, what is that
Right.
about? And blah blah blah. And so like, yeah, I was keeping up, and I think that they've been doing NWO for I think 6 months, right? Because Bash to the
Something like
Beach
that,
was
yeah.
that summer,
Mhm.
and this is January, and so they only been doing it for like whoever can do the math right now, like 5 or 4 months, right? Let's say roughly,
Uh-huh.
and it just shows you how much like they completely watered down from that point on to like where they are in January. Because
Yeah.
it was cool with just the 3 or 4 when they included Syxx, X-Pac, Sean Walton.
Even with the Giant.
Even with the
I thought that
Giant was pretty
cool.
decent. But then when they started adding Scott Norton,
VK Wall Street.
Right. And then who was the guy? See, I don't even know his name.
Buff
Bubba,
Bagwell?
Big Boss Man.
Big Bubba, yeah.
Right. They started adding. I mean, I understand that you had to get $1 Million Man for the backing of the money, but
Right.
when they started adding more and more members, it just got real diluted.
Yeah, and that's like because I'm living through WCW for the first time here, but that's something that I've always heard is that the NWO was cool at first and then just blew up way too much. Like you said, it just got diluted at some point. I didn't think it would be this fast though, dude. Like
exactly.
You said, 5 or 6 months in. Because like you said, it starts out with the 3. It's cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
They bring in, is it Syxx first or Giant? Whatever, it's like close together, right?
Yeah, they're close together. Yeah,
like Syxx, Giant, and Ted DiBiase. So that's what, 6 people, and I guess Vincent. Sure, he's harmless. He's just there.
He has to come with. I mean,
it's at that point where it should have stopped there. But then literally it's not even like every guy has like a sweet reveal. It's not like, oh, VK Wall Street, he turned on Alex Wright and now he's the man. No, they literally were like, Eric Bischoff's like, everyone has an opportunity to either join us or be against us. And then you just have random fucking, I guess VK Wall Street's here. It's like a really quick segment. They don't let it breathe. And then, it's Big Bubba, I guess. He has a shirt on. Oh, Masachono, he's Japanese. So, yeah, it's jarring how quickly it's fallen off. And I know there's still some good, or at least I would assume there's still some good from them coming up. But this show was not representative of the good.
No, it wasn't. Okay. I mean, I will say, I know we're going to talk about it, but like the one savior though was the Eddie Guerrero Syxx match.
Yes. Yeah.
That was probably the one savior. If you watch anything else, I mean, it just was just typical Monday Night Nitro, like just shenanigans. The tag match was pretty decent though, I got to say.
The finish was.
But that match was way too long than it needed to be.
Right. Exactly.
But the Hollywood and Giant, I mean, I get it, that's the main event. But it had no win. It had no finish.
Oh, dude, it drove me crazy. It's a pay-per-view.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And then I know we're gonna get into it. No, well, fuck it. I'll let you do your thing, and then we'll drop the notes.
Yeah, we'll touch on every little nook and cranny with this thing, but yeah, man, it's sold out. They're in they're like Cedar Rapids, Iowa, or some shit.
Cedar Rapids, Iowa, I believe it was.
Is that like the hub of NWO fans? Like,
dude, no, it wasn't. Because if you saw the crowd, obviously the crowd, they were just like happy to have a pay-per-view there, right?
I don't think they were though. They were just like the energy of this show was just non-existent from the crowd.
No, yeah, in the beginning, I believe, because it just seemed like, okay, I don't know anything about Iowa. I know they're our neighboring, state to Illinois. I know this. But it just seems like most Iowans, shout out, are
Seth
not bad
Rollins.
people.
Seth
They're
Rollins.
like pretty Seth Rollins. They're pretty simple, right? When it comes to things, right?
They're
They're
fucking stupid. Yeah.
do-gooders.
Yeah. Oh,
Whoa,
simple.
whoa,
Oh, simple. Oh, you mean
whoa,
simple?
whoa.
Like, sorry.
Whoa, like
I
they just
was,
like simple things, you
I
know,
was
like
just
maybe a
saying to
Friday
you.
night is
Okay.
going
Yeah.
to the pumpkin farm, you know what I'm saying?
The
You know,
pumpkin farm.
it's just very simple routines, simple things, right?
Yeah. Right.
And it just didn't seem like NWO was the place to be. It just seemed like every time that they had a babyface come out, that's who they were cheering for, right? When Giant was about to get the win, they popped for Giant. When
hmm
Eddie Guerrero was getting like, looked like he was gonna win, and he, not gonna spoil anything, but they were all cheering for faces.
Right.
When it's weird where it's like this is an NWO pay-per-view, so shouldn't the crowd technically be on NWO's side?
Yeah.
You know? So
There's
that's the
a lot
part
of-
that that's the part that was like a huge miss right there.
So, well, that begs the question: where do you think the show should have been? Like, where in the world do you think the most NWO fans are?
I think definitely East Coast, like somewhere like Philly,
Yeah,
maybe
Northeast
New York.
somewhere, New York. Yeah.
New York definitely. Maybe, Las Vegas, LA. But I don't think WCW was doing good in those areas because those were all mostly occupied by
Yeah.
WWE.
Yeah, I feel like even at this point, WCW is still like a kind of a regional territory. Obviously, like
Mostly Southern for sure.
yeah, coming out of Atlanta, I guess they didn't really branch out much up to this point. So yeah, I guess that makes Las Vegas. You said Las Vegas. I was like, oh, that would have been the fucking perfect place. But
That would have been
I don't know.
because like I know that Eric Bischoff's big thing is that he loves to ride motorcycles. And so Sturgis is in Colorado, I believe. I don't know the geographics because I
It's
don't
one of the
fucking care.
Dakotas. I think it's South Dakota.
So yeah, because I don't fucking care about Sturgis and all that shit. But like, but but for the people that do, I know if they had Las Vegas, they could have went to Sturgis and did the whole thing there. Because Road Wild was
Hog Wild,
whatever it was,
both of them.
Wild and Out. I don't know.
Wild it out. Like, shout out to Cannon.
Shout out, he got a kidney transplant. Shout out. And used to be married to Mariah Carey. I don't know how that happened, but
I don't know. Got a lot of kids.
just how I don't know how that happened. I don't know how this pay-per-view happened, but we're here. So
We're here.
Yeah,
we're here. I don't know how we got here, but we're here.
Hmm.
Yeah, just a very interesting concept of a show, a faction having its own pay-per-view, which I like try to put myself in the shoes of this time. Or just like in pop culture, like you look at the crowd, there's NWO shirts everywhere, not just the show, but any Nitro. Like the NWO is hot. ECW spoofing it with the BWO. WWF is referencing it on their show. Like it's taken over the wrestling world. So it's a huge thing. I just don't the and if their whole gimmick is that they're separate from WCW, I guess it makes sense in the kayfabe, but like just because you can do it doesn't mean you should.
Right.
But like they did it for several years, so I don't know. Maybe it got better over time, but yeah, this is a
No, I don't know because I was at this time because my age, right? I am definitely one of the ones that lived through the whole Monday Night Wars, right? As a child or as a preteen, and so like I remember when it was all about NWO versus WCW and then WWE, right? So I remember when like DX was hot and then there was NWO. If you look at because I think you're going to anyway. Like if you look at like the way the factions were set up in WWE, they were far more structured than NWO was, and they were definitely a lot more, how do I say, more representative of the late rebellious '90s at that time. Because that's, I mean, NWO tried to, but like we were just talking about, like it only lasted seems like 4 months,
right? And then they got the Wolf Pack. Then they have to like fight within each other, and then it's just.
Then you got Kevin Nash and Scott Hall trying to talk gangsta.
Well, that's good. Fubu Nash, I'm a big fan.
Hey, Fubu Nash is goated. I will say Fubu Nash was goated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they were doing lines like "No diggity,"
right?
Conan was coming out with like the bowdy rowdy because I know that was Master P's thing, and so they were trying to reflect. But it's like you're doing that in Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Like you're doing that in like not Atlanta, Georgia. You're doing it in like Upper Georgia.
Right.
You
Macon.
know,
I don't know where Macon is. I know it's another city.
biscuits.
Yes. But man, we should I guess we'll just get right into it. But
Oh, okay. Yeah.
so yeah, you brought it up. The intro is just hilarious. Them riding in on garbage trucks. Which, by the way, I've heard like Nash in interviews talk about how miserable this was because it was cold as shit.
Yeah,
And they're in Iowa.
yeah.
It's January, so just having that knowledge, watching this makes it even just way more.
Yeah,
funnier.
Midwest winter is not for the weak. You know,
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine.
It's not for the weak.
Yeah, like the visual's cool, right? I had high expectations.
Yeah, the visuals look nice.
Black and white,
garbage.
trash. Yeah,
garbage.
Why is that supposed to be like a tough vehicle? Garbage trucks, I guess they're durable, huh? I don't know.
Well, I mean, like they're making. I know that like couldn't they use what's his name? That was a garbage truck gimmick in
Duke
WWF.
the dumpster Drosy. What's he doing at this point? I don't think he's still with the Fed.
He should have been driving and been like, "Oh, sweet man."
That would have turned this whole show around. That's the ingredient it was missing. But cool little intro here. The black and white. You have Eric Bischoff and kind of all the NWO guys having their little voiceovers. It was like, it's cool. Okay, this embodies what the NWO is trying to portray. I dig it. Cuts through the arena. It's a cool look. Like the stage, I thought was really cool.
I like the stage too. I like the stage.
Steps, really tall test. It's like WrestleMania 39, but black and white. It kind of reminded me of. It was just as good, just as grand.
With the steps.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
I thought of the stage looking like early 2000s Super Bowl promos. You know what I'm saying? Like this, you know how they had the halftime shows back then? Like that's what the stage kind of reminds me of. You know. Too bad
none of those gals on the bikes lost their top like what's her tits? Janet Jackson.
Would you want to see that though? Respectfully, would you want to see that?
The winner missed the gal that ended up winning. I would have loved to see those.
You would love to see that?
I mean, yeah.
Milk. I mean, the milk is powder at that point.
Oh, it's
evaporated. It's evaporated. Okay.
It's definitely curdled. You're not wrong about that.
No, dude. And then the other ones are like condensed. You know what I'm saying? Condensed.
Yeah.
Milk, you know?
Yeah, it's not good. Nothing I want to put in my coffee, that's for sure.
Hey.
But again, cool look. The stage, that being said, pretty modern too for 97 with the screens and you know the sleek looking steps and the bikes all around. It's kind of cornbally a little bit, but it's like whatever. You got the speakers that Eric Bischoff and Ted DiBiase, who are the commentators for this show, which that is just
horrendous. Well, did you see like what the hell was like? Well, they call him Trillionaire, right? Trillionaire Ted DiBiase.
Yeah.
I don't know if his cord for his headphones were too short, or he just fumbled the microphone and the headphones. But it took him a while to put that on.
Well, he's not a commentator. He doesn't know how to use headphones. He's all about whatever he does.
I'm like, this is setting the tone for the whole show. Just no structure. Just do whatever feels right, you know?
Yeah, it's just like Ted wasn't good. He was not made for commentary. He's good. He's like good, you know, wrestling promo guy, but that doesn't always translate to commentary as exhibited here. And Eric Bischoff, still newly heel. So I think he's still trying to get his feet under him in terms of like what this character is. But you like watch here and watch where he would be like in WWE in the early 2000s. Like it's like night and day.
It's for sure.
Really,
and then how he was too, like, because I think he was like the straight guy in commentary, right? He was like the play-by-play mostly.
Yeah, they're both kind of straight-ish, as straight as one could be, I guess.
Straight as edge. Okay. So like the thing that I noticed with him is that he tried to keep the whole heel persona as Eric Bischoff, the member of NWO. And as the match went on, I think he just was like, okay, I guess I'm by myself here. Right. Because Ted wasn't feeding anything other than you know. So then he says I felt that he just went back to being old Eric Bischoff play by play. And then he realized, I gotta make fun of these guys because I'm supposed to be a heel.
this has got to be exhausting after a while. Like, how long
Yeah.
can you push?
Because he's like
that?
he's almost like complimenting the NWO opponents, right? Like,
Mhm.
and then you're like, wait a minute, is he supposed to be a heel commentator and just be talking shit about those guys? But he's like, oh, DDP with a nice suplex.
Yeah.
But not as good as Scott Norton. Like, he just remembered, oh, I got to be a bad guy.
Yeah, I guess he had to stay kind of neutral to cut just for the sake of like,
I guess, yeah,
not taking away from the action or lack of action that was going on.
Right.
Which
oh yeah, lack of action for sure.
We open up strong. Well, actually, we open up kind of. I'm not strong. It's not a bad match.
Decent,
open up.
decent.
About as good as it gets, as far as like regular wrestling goes. We got Chris Jericho, the Learning Tree. Taking on
I think
Masahiro.
he's the learning roots right now. He's the learning roots.
Learning
Educated
sapling?
roots.
Square root?
Square root? Oh.
Educated sapling?
What's the parameter? What's the parameter here? What's the equation that we're solving here? X or Y?
Yeah, I think Ohm's law comes into play. I don't know. We'll have to
Ohm's law. Oh, I need my TI-83. I need my TI-83 for this.
Ooh, dust that bad boy off. Boobies, right? 8008.
800.
Shout out.
Hell no.
Speaking of boobies, a fella that probably has lots of them in his mouth. I don't know. Masahiro Chono. So we got Jericho versus Chono here. We got Masahiro Chono, the Japanese representation of the NWO.
The Japanese sub brand of NWO.
Yeah, he's spreading the good word out east. Godzilla.
Yes. He's a disciple. He's a disciple. Of,
whoa! He's not the disciple. That's Beefcake.
Oh, that's right. Oh my gosh, you're right.
Come on now. Come on. They're not even kind of similar.
I forget.
Beefcake isn't even a little bit Asian. I don't think.
No. Well, with the facelift, he kind of okay.
Tighten things up a little bit.
We can say that, yeah, and y'all can laugh because we said that. All right.
Yes.
So,
you're invited to the barbecue or whatever the Asian equivalent. You're invited to the Korean barbecue.
It's not even our barbecue.
Yeah, we're not invited, but you probably are. So Nick Patrick's here. He has a hat.
Dude.
Nick Patrick's got to be the workhorse of this entire show.
I'm telling you, there's not a lot of MVPs awards I want to give up for this pay-per-view, but if there's a nomination, he definitely gets it, man. I mean, his arm has to be swollen up by doing these 3 counts.
Stupid. I have to fucking endure, as if this show isn't a shit show enough. I have to endure this stupid ass pin cadence all night.
Well, okay.
Every match.
Did you get annoyed with the pin, or did you get annoyed with the voiceover just being like loser?
Oh, you mean
pubes? Yes. Like
Nick Pubes, yeah. Shout out Nick Pubes.
And like talk about like the missed time too.
It just didn't add anything.
It just didn't mean nothing. It meant nothing.
Do it during the entrance, maybe, because another a kind of a funny addition to this is that the baby faces don't get ring music, which is just they're trying to sabotage them. I get it. It plays into it, but then you have like the little, Nick Pubes with the voiceovers. I don't know what he said about Jericho. Do you remember? Or if he said anything?
No, I don't think he said anything about Jericho, but after the next opponents, he does like add a little something to their entrance. But I don't remember what he did. Chris Jericho.
Yeah, it might have just been loser. But yeah, it'd be like in the matches too. It'd be like, Irish whip, a headlock. Thanks. All right. Anyways, we got another arm drag. Okay. And then it's like, we got it. We heard you.
Yeah. And it got no. And the worst thing in wrestling is like no reaction. It got like no reaction.
Who cares?
Exactly.
Boo! Like, mythical man voice.
You know what I'm saying? Like it just didn't resonate with anybody. And like if you were trying to be funny, it just didn't work also too.
Yeah, it's just, again, I try to put myself in the time period. Is that the humor of the time? But like you said, the crowd didn't react to it either, so obviously it's not hitting very.
Yeah. I mean, this time, in this era, 96 to 97, I mean, this is the era of like South Park, Beavis and Butthead, like the real edgy type stuff, Jerry Springer's like at a kind of like a prime. Howard Stern is at a prime. So a lot of those edgy type comedies that are pushing the envelope is like really of what the humor is at that time. And calling somebody loser like that, it was like maybe 80s. That's like Caddyshack type humor.
Yeah. I think Jericho needed to be called a Mexican jumping bean or something. I don't know.
Oh no, that's what he used for Eddie Guerrero.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
It would be funny if they just used the sound drop at the wrong point, called Jericho a Mexican jumping bean.
Or the Michigan Mutts, but it was like Chris Jericho.
Exactly.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'm from Toronto, you idiot, or whatever the hell.
Yeah, right.
The match is what it is. Chono's here. Chono, I mean, both solid workers. Chono is like I don't know if he's the inventor of the STF, but he definitely like popularized it.
Right.
So he's like works the leg at Jericho. Jericho is able to fight out. It's a lion salt for a 2 count. And we're bringing out tables already. First match for no reason. Just I forget who.
And like
set
there
the
was
table.
like no stipulation for this. It's just like, okay, I guess NWO rules.
Well, it's referee's discretion, but
oh
it just so
yeah.
happens
So he doesn't care. Obviously,
that the referee is Mr. Nick Patrick, who is, in case it was unclear if he's in the NWO, he's wearing an NWO T-shirt, has an NWO hat, wearing it backwards, and all throughout the night he's helping the NWO, which adds another element, which it plays more of a part in the later matches, but ultimately Jericho, I think he sets up the table on the outside, but he's the one that ends up getting thrown through it. Gets knocked off the top turnbuckle through the table, gets thrown in the ring. Chono, mafia kick to the chops, and gets the win. So Masa Chono. NWO is out hot, 1-0 against WCW.
My thing is, did you see the botch that that Chono did like at the apron? I don't know if he was trying to do a crossbody or missed the footing, but like he totally botched like doing something from the top rope. I'm gonna call this the McDonald's ice cream machine is broken, because you expect to get the ice cream from McDonald's, but they tell you it's broken, but it really isn't, which is very similar to this match. On paper, this looks like it's gonna be dope,
right?
But it ends up just being shit.
Right.
It's just like, I don't know what was the chemistry here, and it's like Jericho has wrestled in Japan, so I'm sure he's familiar with their wrestling style, and I don't know if Masahiro Chono was just not with it, you know.
It was just a cold match. I don't know. Like it was a little clunky at some points. It wasn't offensively bad to me, at least in comparison to some of the other matches. But
yeah,
just like I said, there's no energy either in the crowd. So it's like if you're working off of that, like
true.
Where do you even go?
True.
But it's only downhill from there, folks. Don't you worry. So time for the opening ceremony here. We got Miss NWO. What's Miss NWO? Hardest part of the ring? Well, let me tell you. So it's we got a bunch of gals who I guess applied to be a part of this competition, which occurs throughout the night. In between all the matches, we got
oh my gosh,
interviews. We got all sorts of shenanigans, which we'll talk through as we go through the show here. But we start off. Eric Bischoff and Ted DiBiase are taking a look at this photo slideshow of some of the submissions provided to them to be a part of Mrs. I don't know. Look, okay, first of all, this lady.
I'm so glad you got these.
How old do you think? How old do you think this lady?
Dude, she looks 13.
Dude, I said 12. I said so.
Okay, we're right there.
Definitely not of age, but she applied to be a part of this. I don't know if she's actually there.
This is her first dance at elementary school.
Yeah. And then this lady got some mom trying to be a part of this, and then I mean,
it's like, look, you didn't even think to cover the background. Like you're just at somebody's desk. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it gives it some ambiance. But this lady's, hold on, I got the commentary here. I forget what exactly they say.
Family, now her I love. She was from Wisconsin, man. She could cut wood.
Looks like she eats a lot of cheese too.
I've got a
Looks like she eats a lot of cheese too.
What cheese do you think she eats?
From under.
From a Munster?
From under.
From under.
From under these nuts. So we got this lady.
Soft spot in my heart for women.
Quite a handsome woman. Got this lady with what the fuck is this dog, by the way? It looks like CM Punk's
the dog just doesn't want to be there. And there's nothing worse than taking pictures in front of bad linen. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, the cotton ratio is not good. I can tell here.
No, it's very
bad.
You know
what I'm saying? It's just not good. You know,
yeah,
the hair is what's going on with the hair.
It's kind of it seems like all these gals kind of have similar wavy curls, like the Stephanie McMahon curls. You know. Here's my boy. Here's our boy, Hollywood.
What is going on? Where is he? Bath and Body Works 96.
Yeah, are those?
What is going on?
It might be. I don't know. Some sort of meet and greet.
She does not look like she wants to be here. You know,
her husband grabbed this photo and sent it in without her knowledge.
Oh my goodness gracious!
I think it's Hogan's mom, I think. And all right. It looks like
Madonna cosplay.
Looks like Jack Perry a little bit.
Okay, see the other thing too here is like I want to point out the penmanship is not the greatest, you know.
Dear Mr. Bischoff, do you think this is like what actually was sent in?
I don't know if it's somebody's handwriting needs to be fixed here. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's the issue. You're right when you put it that way.
See, if you go back to that, can you go back to that for a second?
Yeah,
I'm sorry. If you go back to that letter,
mm-hmm.
right? There's a part there that says she thinks. So isn't it like, who is this letter? Who wrote this letter? Because it definitely wasn't a contestant if they're saying she thinks. Does that mean that she's writing it for somebody?
That's a good point. I didn't really think to actually read it. She thinks if you're not a fake blonde with implants, she won't get picked. But as her best friends, we know she's, and then it's cut off.
So somebody wrote it for her. Somebody decided to.
Is this
pitch herself into the contestant? She didn't choose to be there.
I don't think this is human trafficking, but I think it's a branch off of it. I think this is not does not seem kosher to me.
Yo, are we doing our own version of Unsolved Mysteries right here?
Yeah, all these pictures look like.
If you just play the music right now, like I tell you, we're watching Unsolved Mysteries. She thought she was going to a dance until
she wouldn't know. She didn't know until that night that it was her last dance. Shout out Michael Jordan. But yeah, this is very not a good way. By the way, so this is like on the pay-per-view. I mean, just listen to the crowd.
As Ms. nWo. And these were two.
At some point, there's boring chants. Like they just spend so much. This is not even the whole thing. I cut out probably half of it. They're just spending so much time just looking at these pictures.
I'm so glad you pointed it out because so much dead air was spent on this.
Oh, dude. And it's like, yeah, the show just was not paced well. It's just.
And then I don't know if you, because I looked up some interviews on this, and this topic in particular, they had said that they wanted to do something completely opposite of what you think they would do, like not go for like a hot chick or whatever, and not, they wanted to steer away from that. I think that's all BS. I think that they were definitely going to go that route, and then TNT was like, "You're absolutely not doing that," Because remember, they had standard practices, unlike WWE.
Right.
Remember, WWE can get away with, being a lot more edgier than what WCW can do.
Mm-hmm.
They can do all that violence-ish type stuff, but they can't really verbalize it or act on it, right? Unlike what you see later on with like DX and Nation and even Heart Foundation, I really think that they were told not to do what they wanted to do, which was obviously go get a hot chick type of thing. And they're like, okay, no, instead get the women that are at the Waffle House right down there.
the local Iowa flavor is what ended up on this stage.
The ladies working the night shift at Kmart are going to be coming out soon. Like, I'm sure that they wouldn't mind.
Yeah, this is definitely I don't think there was like an audition process. I think these were just all of the ladies that applied, and they were like, "Well,
You think legitimately like they applied for this?
yeah, we saw the letters, Juss. I mean, come on, they wouldn't lie to us."
Right, and like it's
WCW.
so funny too because I point out the desk, and the reason why I point that out is that you see four different pictures, but the same desk. You know what I'm saying? So it's like someone just
Well, it's whoever's opening the letters, right?
yeah.
Well, at some point, there's more wrestling on the show, I think. And honestly, the next match might be the match of the night.
Is this the Jeff Jarrett? Or no. Is this the Big Boss Man? And
it is Big Bubba Rogers.
Oh my God!
Taking on Hugh Morris, representing the Dungeon of Doom.
Shout out.
In a Mexican death match. Are there any Mexicans in this match?
Adios mio.
Not even Jimmy Hart is Mexican, I don't think.
No, not even a 0.5 percentage.
Is it a Mexican? So the rules of a Mexican death match, if anybody's wondering, it's just a last man standing match. So a Texas death match, you got to pin or submit your opponent, and then the count starts. But here, I don't believe you have to. I think the count just starts, right?
I believe so, yeah.
So I guess that's the only difference. I guess last man standing wasn't like a thing at this point. So I guess what else are you going to call it?
Right.
But why not just have
no,
a fucking...
there's a lot of things they could have called it. But
it's called like a street fight or something. I don't know.
What's
Very
like, okay,
random.
did you do, I don't know if you know, but like Conan was supposed to be in this match, right?
Oh, was he?
Hence
Okay,
the
well,
reason
that
why
makes
it's supposed to be
sense.
Mexican death match, right?
There we go. Yeah.
Right. And so like he took a booking in Mexico that couldn't have him leave. So they replaced it with Hugh Morris, but they didn't change the name of the match, which could have been an easy fix, right? Just call it Street Fight match, right? Or something like that, right? Call it Iowa Brawl. They could have, it's been so simple to change.
I'm looking up where Hugh Morris is from. He is from New Jersey.
Sicily, Italy?
That's actually pretty fucking good. That was good. Right off the dome. Sicily. I like it.
Hey,
I like it.
You know, I try here, you know.
That's good stuff. But yeah, so it's not a Sicily death match, but it is a silly death match because, man, I mean, where do we even start? We got Big Bubba Rogers. We got Hugh Morris. Jimmy Hart's there with just his colorful jacket is just such a funny,
the tie-dye is immaculate, you know.
The contrast from the rest of the show is just very good.
Come on. I'm Jimmy Hart, baby.
Come on, baby. By the way, the fucking music of... Because Hugh Morris comes out to no music, of course, but then Bubba Rogers and the rest of the nWo, except for Hogan and the Outsiders, they all come out to the same stock rock music, which I don't know if that's dubbed over music. I don't know if the rock band that was there was playing it. Do you remember?
Oh God, it's like it's. I know the name of the song, but I think they just loop it for the non-important members.
For the B Squad.
Oh, if you want to call it the B Squad. Yeah, I just feel like it's just looped for them, but then for everybody else, it's just like a brand new song. You know?
Right. Interesting.
God, what is the name of the song? I can't think of it. But yeah. But I guess in a way you're right. Like it's just looped for them.
Yeah, but it's just like really lame music. Again, I don't know if this is like the original, like what they actually ended up playing, but it didn't seem like the rock band was playing. You know, looking at them, they didn't seem like they were fiddling with the keys. But match gets underway here. I don't know. Bubba has a chain. He's swinging it. Like, when I think of somebody getting hit with a chain in wrestling, you think, you know, wrapping it around the fist, punching them. But no, Bubba's just like a whip. Like it's, I'm not going to make that joke, but it's,
careful. We're in Iowa.
Mexican death match, not a, never mind. So Bubba's swinging a chain. And I don't know, the finish is probably the takeaway. No?
I'm okay. First off, there's a couple things to unpack on this match because as wild as this was, it really was that too. Because he breaks out, Bubba breaks out the handcuffs, and Hugh Morris though you think he's funny, he's actually bright. Does a weird MacGyver switcheroo where he actually handcuffs Bubba, right?
Yes.
But here's the funny thing: somebody forgot to actually handcuff somebody. Because if you look closely, the cuffs aren't even cuffed.
I did not notice that. No.
The cuffs aren't even cuffed, and so he's holding it and just letting one jangle as if he's cuffed, and he's just trying to pretend like it's handcuffed. And it's so funny because like you see it actually when he gets like clothesline to the outside and he like rolls out of the top rope. So how would he have to hold on if he was handcuffed to begin with?
I don't know. Maybe it's all playing possum because look, big boss man. Of course, he's very familiar with the handcuffs. So if anybody knows how to manipulate and defend, and his big leather daddy, Big Bubba, knows how to use some handcuffs, whatever occupation it is, day or night.
Come on. He carried that nightstick for a lot of years.
Oh, yes, he did. Yes, he did. Big girthy nightstick.
No, but okay, and then Hugh Morris does the worst backflip that I've ever seen in my entire life, and I totally forgot.
No. Well, first of all, it's no laughing matter.
Yeah.
You said it was Hugh Morris / Bill DeMott, top 3 moonsault of all time.
Get out of here. Who? Who is this? You said Hugh Morris and who?
He went by Bill DeMott in WWE. That's his real name. I think it's his real name.
Ooh, you want my top 3 moonsaults of all time?
Yeah, name me 3 moonsaults that are better than no laughing matter.
Io Shirai, for sure. Great Muda.
No.
Io
Shirai's moonsault is not better than Hugh Morris's.
Let me get... Oh, who else am I going to choose here?
If you say Charlotte Flair, I'm kicking you from the room.
No, not Charlotte Flair. No, I can't do Charlotte Flair. She's not. No. You know what?
CM Punk.
No, I'm trying to... Who does another one?
Vader has a good moonsault.
Vader's good.
But it's not
I would say Bam Bam Bigelow.
But his is kind of crooked. Like
I know it's kind of crooked.
The impact is good. Good impact. Him and Vader have good, impactful looking splashes, but Hugh Morris had the impact, but also the grace.
I would say Keith Lee. Okay. For a big guy, he really flipped over.
I think Hugh Morris had a little more airtime, though. I don't know what to do with side-by-side comparison.
I think the tie-dye was the one that kind of got you looking like
you think it like hypnotized me and made me think it was good? That's actually a good point. I never really thought about that. I mean,
my gosh. But then he tries it again on the outside and he just fucks up so bad.
Yeah, he did not have confidence because he hits this moonsault.
Air, no air there, No,
that was a Bam Bam moonsault. What he did on the outside.
And let's talk about Bubba just taking a motorcycle, taking one of the Miss NWO's motorcycle, just running his ass over for the win.
Love it. Fucking this match sucked a bag of baby dicks up until that point. That Bubba running this dude over with a motorcycle to win a match made this match of the night. I mean, sensational. Okay. You got all these bikes around. If nobody got run over on this show, that's a horrendous missed opportunity, but Bubba took his opportunity. True. If there's any spot for manslaughter, it's the second match. It's of the show. Who gives a fuck? Last minute replacement match, Mexican death match with no Mexicans. Let's run a guy over with a motorcycle. What the hell is happening here? And we're only in the second match of the night.
And that's what I was saying. I'm like, okay, how's this gonna end? And I'm like, whoa, is he gonna do? And then right before I even thought about, boom, he hits him. Like, oh shit, he hit him for real. And everyone talks about the time that I think, who was it? Jack Perry or somebody that got hit in the golf cart, or Sammy Guevara, whoever weird ass.
Yeah, Sammy Guevara did too. Yeah,
and then Kevin Owens got hit too by Roman. None of that compares to this.
Yeah,
I would say this is by far just as good as when Rikishi hit Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I was about to say, is that better or worse than that? Because
it's on par. It's on par.
That's the measuring stick for sure. Stone Cold going tumbling over a car. Yeah.
Because Hugh Morris looked legit hurt after that fake out no laughter that he tried to do. And then you have Bubba coming in full speed, I will say, almost with the motorcycle.
I mean, it was probably fucking hurt from that moonsault he tried to do off the stairs.
Yeah,
onto
exactly.
whatever the ramp is. Yeah, it was not
Exactly.
good. Not good. But overall, this match was a net positive due to somebody getting run over with a motorcycle. So
Oh my gosh.
I'll allow it.
Bubba.
Big Bubba.
Bubba.
So NWO's 2-0 on their own pay-per-view. It might be a little suspicious, but I don't know. It's just how the cookie crumbles.
I mean, Nick Patrick didn't have to do anything in that match.
Well, there was a bit. It was funny when because Hugh hit the moonsault in the ring, Bubba was out. Nick Patrick's counting, and he's like, as he's counting, he's like trying to revive Bubba. Like, we're at 6. You better start getting up. So it was like subtle helping, but yeah, it didn't.
Oh, I missed that.
It was good stuff. Like he had little gems all throughout the show. This Nick Patrick.
Oh, dude, just the unorganization. Yeah.
You want to talk unorganization?
Let's go.
How about this Miss NWO? There are several segments in a row, like after each match.
Yeah.
So what's this dude named the host, Jack Meoff or whatever his name is?
Yeah. He's like never seen again after this too.
Look, I don't think he necessarily did a bad job. He wasn't really given much to work with. Maybe these ladies could have been coached up on what the questions were, or like where they were, or what the tone is. I don't know. Maybe they were coached up. Let's take a gander and see if they were prepared to answer these questions.
Let me ask you, what does the term NWO going all the way mean to you?
Fellatio?
Fellatio?
Is she going for fellatio? Blowjobs right out the gate.
What how would you answer that? Let's all take turns to answer this question. How would you how would you answer this if you had to feed her a line?
All right, I gotta have him ask it to me.
Okay.
Let me ask you, what does the term NWO going all the way mean to you?
Shitting on my dick and no, I'm a lady, right? Fuck, I already messed it up. So I'm a lady. All right, getting my poop on his dick. And then having this is so vulgar for no reason. I would just go super vulgar and ruin the show, and they'd have to cut it off. But it's like, what could be? What would your answer be?
My answer would be, it would be just too sweet. To kind of go with what their gimmick is.
Yeah. Going all the way, NWO.
Yes.
No. Yeah. I guess it's better than fellatio. Or whatever she said.
Better than
Actually,
fellatio.
I don't know if it is. I think fellatio is the best.
Is that a headband?
Hold on. Because I think she meant fellatio.
I think so. But the star of this segment, though, clearly is the kid in the back. Young Dexter Loomis. Young Dexter Loomis in the back is the kid.
This lady's talking about sucking cock with this. With what's Home Alone?
Macaulay Culkin?
Macaulay Culkin in the background. That's his reaction to hearing about fellatio for the first time.
Mom, what's fellatio?
He is very indifferent.
He's learning a lot. He's learning a lot there.
Might be. Oh, there's one more.
Tell me, Kevin Nash is known as a big man in the wrestling industry today. What would you do to tame this big man?
Anything it takes.
Could you go into a little detail? Oh, you minx.
Oh, you minx. What?
The pause. Just the nothingness.
Let's talk about how she has the nasty boy's haircut. Let's talk about that for a second.
She's the third nasty. The nasty girl.
And then look at this broke ass Jack Ritter dude behind with the outsider shirt on.
Yeah, that's when I think of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. That's what I think.
That's who you think of, not the guy in the sweater vest.
No, that's that's kind of a sweater vest.
I mean, that's
definitely.
That's clearly Michael Rappaport right there.
Yeah, that could be. I was about to say he definitely kills and eats people, but
whoa.
It's either him or Michael Rappaport. I don't know.
Whoa.
There's a lot of.
That's like a hair transplant from another body to fill what would be a bald spot for her head, but I'm not quite sure. I'm just saying. I don't know.
The hair is brutal. Brutal.
This is okay. So, do you know how you would answer this?
Well, let me get the question one more time.
World of the nWo. Let's go over to number 2 here. Tell me, Kevin Nash is known as a big man in the wrestling industry today. What would you do to tame this big man?
I would siphon all of the diesel out of his asshole. Yeah.
I would say I would pump his jackknife.
I like it. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Blow is, blow that horn. Beat Bob Backlund. I don't know. That's all I got. That's all I got. He'd blow his quad. I would put his quads over his head.
That's what you would do.
Blow his quad?
Yes.
Yeah, I like it. We should have coached this chick up.
That's what I'm saying. We should have head right this.
Well, if they ever do this again, we'll be prepared. We'll be prepared. And
I'm sure
I'm sure I didn't include it in that clip, but then it cuts to like a silhouette dancer behind like a screen that is definitely held at gunpoint because she's dancing like,
oh yes,
you know, with just the shadow behind the white screen.
Yeah.
Looks like that Australian break dancer. What's her name? Ray Gun.
I was thinking more of like those, like, remember in Austin Powers, they would have like girls dancing behind. That's what I was thinking of.
It'd be like Austin on his knees, and then somebody would be like shoving a stick up his ass. It would look like,
yeah, baby, yeah.
Oh, deeper, honey.
Do I make you Randy, baby? Yeah.
Well, you know what makes me Randy?
Oh.
JEFF JARRETT and IRS for some reason
The
are having
Wall
a match.
Street Journal.
Yo, he's Michael, not VK Wall Street anymore. He is just Michael Wall Street. Mr. Wyatt out here taking on Jeff Jarrett.
Ain't he great?
No. Jeff Jarrett, I mean, he's ain't he okay? Ain't he serviceable in this match? Yeah, I guess maybe. I don't know. Jeff comes out. He's Jeff Jarrett.
God.
Michael Wall Street. More stock music. Just another.
Just horrible ass music.
Who else is in the NWO? I guess, yeah, sure. IRS. Go out there and fucking have a boring match like you always do. Not even any suspenders to add some flavor to it. Just nope. Just Michael Wall Street. So I think the bigger story here is the Four Horsemen, which are having a bit of
school me on this, because I was kind of like wasn't sure what they were doing here. Was Jeff Jarrett part of like this Timu version of Four Horsemen, or what was the? So
the horse, it's a bit confusing. And so it was it's Flair, Arn, Benoit, and Mongo.
Right. Okay.
Flair is out injured. I think he's recovering from shoulder injury. Jarrett got the endorsement from Flair, but nobody else really in the group approved of him being in the group.
So he's Carlito.
Yeah.
Like what Carlito is to the Judgment Day is what Jeff Jarrett is to the Four Horsemen.
I guess so, man. He's
or is that infamous interim membership, type of deal?
Oh, like a free trial type of deal?
Yeah, like interim champion and all that BS,
Oh, he's just like filling in for Flair until Flair's back, and then see, the thing is, I don't think Jarrett's gonna wanna leave the Horsemen, which is, I think, is where the tension among the members.
Oh, I got you.
Happens. So also,
you're saying there might be a breakup within the stable, horse stable.
Is that where stable comes from?
Probably.
Because Horsemen, that was like one of the first like big factions, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
Man, that kind of blew my mind right there. I don't even know if that's true, but it's my head canon.
We're blowing each other's mind at this point.
Just blowing each other's mind. So we should also say throughout the night, there's also like a WCW wrestlers in the audience. There's like Harlem Heat.
Oh
There's,
yeah. Sharon Montel shows
I
up.
think like Alex Wright's there. So I don't
Prince
know. There's,
Haku,
like,
I think, is also there too.
yeah.
Yeah.
But also, we got Mongo and his wife Deborah, Make Michael, are in the crowd. Horsemen members, and they're watching this with great fervor. I don't know. They're watching it closely, and Deborah is worried for Double J. She has a lot of empathy for this man, which is some foreshadowing, more foreskin shadowing there.
Hey.
Future pair, and match is happening. Not a lot going on. Nick Patrick's honestly probably the star of this match. He's like, Wall Street has the sleeper on Jarrett, and his feet are on the ropes. Nick Patrick sees his feet, and he's like, he pats him on the back. He's like, yeah, keep going. Or like Jarrett had him in the figure 4, and then Nick Patrick, the referee, pulls Wall Street to the ropes. He's, we got the ropes.
Dragging him to the rope.
Which is just like, I don't know, man. If the
How
referees
does it become a tag team match?
It's like, how do you book around this? I don't know. Just maybe get some neutral referees at least, or maybe not have Nick Patrick for every single match.
Yeah.
I guess he added some color to this.
But at the same time, I feel so bad for Mike Rotundo, who's probably, Mike Rotundo is a really good wrestler in his own right, but he has to have help from a ref. Like, isn't that so embarrassing,
Yeah, he's already like a schmuck in this NWO group. He's definitely bottom of the totem pole, and now I don't know. Jarrett's got some momentum, I guess. He's got some steam behind him. The nod from Ric Flair, like he's involved, so it's not like he's losing to Sergeant Craig Pittman or anything like that. Like he's losing to Jeff Jarrett, which is fine.
Mike Rotundo, a respected wrestler, member of NWO.
Yeah, of course. Sure. But ultimately, Wall Street has the old abdominal stretch with the rope leverage. Mongo hops the barricade, clocks Wall Street with his little briefcase, his Halliburton briefcase. Clocks him with it. And this allows Jarrett to get the win, so the NWO falls.
Yeah.
And I believe Nick Patrick, I think Mongo like threatened Nick Patrick to count, so that's how they were able to like work around, why wouldn't he? Or why would he count? But so it worked here, I guess. Deborah was like urging Mongo to do it because like she was feeling bad for Jarrett. Mongo doesn't like Jarrett, but he likes his wife. And he's listening to his wife. So we're kind of fueling this horseman will they, won't they thing, I guess. It's at least adding like another story element to this show, and it's not just like NWO versus WCW.
Right.
The entire show. So I don't know.
My thing was like, no one said the line for when Wall Street lost that the Dow crashed.
I think that's his finisher, isn't it? Isn't it like the stock market crash?
Is it? Oh,
I'm pretty sure.
The stock market crash? I think so. Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
So in today's era, he would be called like Bitcoin.
Why is that?
Well, isn't that what some kids use today for currency? Is digital currency?
Michael Bitcoin?
Hey, I don't make the rules here.
Yes, sounds like you do. And I don't like them. That's what Bray Wyatt should have been. Him and Bo, the Bitcoins. Bitcoin
I'm
brothers.
not going here. I know there's a lot of sensitive people about Bray Wyatt topic.
Nobody listening likes Bray Wyatt. Let's make fun of them all.
I
The
don't know
Bitcoin
about
bros.
that. I don't know about
Oh boy. Well, let's get to some serious business here.
Let me ask you here. Hollywood Hulk Hogan, he's got a lot of power in the movie industry. What would you do to be in one of his movies?
Whatever it takes.
Is that not what Harvey Weinstein did? Is that not what?
Snap! Yes.
You want to be in my movie? Well,
Oh my gosh.
that's what we're doing here. Let's suck off Hogan to get involved in Mr. Nanny.
I'll do a Super Commando.
Yeah. Give a little fellation to get in Super Commando. Go Commando for Commando.
Or she would be like, I'll use my Thunder Lips.
That's actually pretty
Rocky
good.
3, Rocky 3.
Damn.
You could tell that she was caught off guard on this, just like you said earlier. This is what we were talking about. Like, they were just unprepared. Nobody queued up the mic. This guy's doing a horrible ass job, you know.
Yeah.
And you can tell in her face. You can tell in her face that she was just not ready for any of this.
Well, they're not ready. And also, it's just like, hey, will you fuck this guy in the NWO?
Yeah.
That's all the questions.
Yeah.
Like, there's no like room for fun improv or creativity or quirkiness. It's just like, you want to be in Hogan's movies? What kind of phallic object would you throw in your twat? You know?
Whatever it takes.
Whatever. By the way, same answer as the last lady, by the way. So nobody's
Like you. Let's head on over to number 4.
No, that's what the first girl said. That was a duplicated answer.
Look at you. You are buoyant. Oh, my.
You are buoyant, which, you know, can't sue him for slander, I guess.
You know, buoyant. It's been said that Zillionaire Ted, you know, he says everyone's got a price. I want to know what's yours because I got like $1.50 on me.
You would walk away with a big bill.
Ooh.
Oh,
A big bill, shout out.
What?
With a big, I mean, that's as good of
Was
an
she
answer.
Was she referencing Goldberg? Bill Goldberg? Or?
Oh, I thought she was referencing Big Cass in AEW.
Big
Jericho's Big Bill, isn't that his name now?
Oh, yeah, right. Who's probably like, what, 2 years old here?
Yeah. Or Goldberg. Could be Goldberg too. I mean, yeah, how much would you charge for me to have intercourse with your vagina is what he's asking this lady.
He obviously is cheap because he said $1.50. Which is,
I mean, you
like,
gotta start low, right? If you're gonna haggle.
I guess, and then work your way up. But like you said, like none of these improv or whatever this is hitting any mark whatsoever.
No, the crowd's very like confused, indifferent. I guess it's a good bathroom break segment.
Oh, for sure. They're wondering, okay, is tomorrow the big pancake breakfast?
That's all they look forward to, the Sunday morning pancake buffet.
The big pancake fundraiser, is that tomorrow? You know?
I got $1.50. How much would you charge? You're gonna get a big bill. Which fine. It's probably the best answer so far.
But see, like, no, I don't remember anyone saying anything like that. You know, that doesn't sound anything reference. You know what I mean? Like close to like what I thought in 1996 people would be. You know,
it's not aligning with the humor of the time.
No,
it's not humorous. Bill DeMont is more humorous.
There's no laughing matter here.
No, there's nobody getting run over by a motorcycle in this one. So yeah, that happens. Was that? Yeah, that's the right one. So we got American males. The explosion. The American males. Up next. Buff Bagwell. Debuting the name Buff here against Scotty Riggs. No hat yet for Buff. So now it's just Buff, no hat. So it's just like, what's his name? Marcus?
Hatless.
Yeah. By the way, there's a point where I really took notice to this like fishing pole camera.
I was just about to point this out. Yep, but go ahead.
What are your thoughts on it?
You know, I understand that like they were trying to be innovative, trying to do something completely different from what WWE or WWF at the time was doing. And so like even though the lens had a fishbowl type of look where it totally gave me flashbacks to like watching Tony Hawk and, you know, Birds Bouquet and all that and skater videos and Sublime.
Shout out.
It totally gave me a vibe of that era. But, you know, the way they were using it was okay, but it just looked weird when the other camera would pick up just a stick floating by somebody's face.
It was not subtle.
It wasn't subtle at all. So, like, for what it was trying to do, I get it. But
Right.
for the weirdness of it, I don't know. I mean, you
Yeah,
see
that's
this
kinda
today because like it kind of like transcended like a bunch of people doing other things too, just in sports. Like now you see the at SummerSlam they had the ref cam, which I thought was pretty interesting.
right.
They had the pole. Remember, they would have the apron camera, like uh,
Yeah,
the
like the
top rope
turnbuckle posts.
camera.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Then for TLC, they had the camera that's all the way in the ceiling to watch, the fall. So like, it started something. It started something.
Yeah. I mean, I won't hate on them for trying something new, and that's kind of like a theme for this whole show, really. Like, I admire them like going outside of the box and trying something, I guess, groundbreaking or at least very different
Yeah.
from what had been presented for any other wrestling company in the world. But yeah,
Right.
it's not everything hit, and this camera was definitely didn't really add to anything. It was like a different color palette than the other cameras too. It was very wonky.
Yeah. Like the feed was like a lot. It was like hand camera feed
Yeah,
versus the
exactly.
like whatever television feed that they were using. But it just look off. It's just like putting it by the guy's like forehead.
Right. Somebody should have grabbed it and used it as a weapon. That would have.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, that couldn't have made this match worse because boy howdy, this was.
Ooh.
Not a big fan of this match. I don't know what you think about it.
It was like I think we talked about before. It was long than I expected it. Now it did pick up like towards the last like I would say 5 minutes. This match I think it was like 20 something minutes, right? It was long for sure.
It felt like it. I don't know.
And it's at this moment, at this time, that I'm beginning to realize like Kevin Nash really loves doing sidewalk slams.
Uh-huh.
Because he did like 3 of them in here, and that was like his highest. That was like what his high point move. I'm also realizing at this time that this should be dubbed Singlet Mania because the amount of people that had like the tank top connect to the tight singlet type style. You had the Steiners had it, Kevin Nash had it, Scott Norton has it, Jeff Jarrett has it. It's like how many people are just wearing singlets out here?
It's a sign of the times, man. Sign of the times.
Sign
I don't
of the
hate it.
times.
Yeah, this match in particular was 13 because Buff Bagwell, Scotty Riggs. This was 13 minutes.
Oh, was it? Okay.
But yeah, it felt like 30. It was just a lot of Buff.
Wait. Which match are we talking about here?
Buff Bagwell, Scotty Riggs.
Oh, you know what? Edit all the shit that I said. Like
No. I like it. I like it. It still applies. Because like you said Kevin Nash, I was like, oh man, he's already. He didn't even want to talk about Scotty Riggs. That's how much he hated this match. I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all.
Oh gosh. Yeah, Buff Bagwell. Okay, go ahead. Spray tans galore.
No, he's got a bad spray tan. I mean, he looks like a gigolo. Like that's what he was. It's like, yeah, it's very clear. Like it's all. He wins with the Buff Blockbuster, so he gets to win here.
Yes.
Yeah, Buff Bagwell. He becomes a pretty significant character going forward. So all's well that ends well there, I guess.
I always thought he was decent on the mic for what his role was in nWo, just being kind of like the hyperactive guy that just talked a lot of shit,
Yeah, I don't hate him. I mean, I'm fine with Buff.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah.
He can kind of go in the ring when he wants to, but I don't know about this. I don't know about this one, big fella. But yeah, so poor Scotty Riggs eats the pin here, and it's at this point I'm wondering, like at face value, the show sucks ass. But
yes,
is this just nWo being the heels and giving us a bad pay-per-view on purpose? Because fuck the fans. Thoughts?
No.
You think they're just not doing their job well?
No. And it's so funny. It's so funny. I've seen a lot of people say that a lot on the famous IWC.
Right.
That how they're always like, well, they're heels. You're supposed to not like it. No, that's stupid. Like, okay, when HBK was a heel, was he ever bad at wrestling? No.
Right.
Same thing with Triple H. He was a heel. Was he ever bad at wrestling? No. Same thing with Ric Flair. Was he ever bad at being a wrestler? No. So like, there's just people that are just bad in ring generals, and it shouldn't matter that if they're heels or not. They're just not doing good.
Yeah. I mean, above all else, you're supposed to make fans want the babyface to win.
Right.
Whereas here, it's like, we don't care. We don't care. We just
Exactly.
want you off my screen.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
speaking of things I want off my screen.
Well, we are about to enter the senior division of the Circuit Miss NWO.
The senior
How you
Oh, the
doing,
senior
darling?
division.
Well, let me ask you this. Describe for me the part of your anatomy that would best help you win Miss NWO.
Now, what do they think the answer is going to be here?
Fibia.
My big fat pussy. No, like
Probably my feet.
my
Wow.
feet. Wait, what was the
Okay.
question again? Hold on.
How you doing, darling? Division. Well, let me ask you this. Describe for me the part of your anatomy that would best help you win Miss NWO.
Okay. She has nice feet. Maybe she has nice feet. I don't know. We can't see in this picture, so it's the jury's out on that one, I guess.
Well, we can't. Not only can we not see that, we can't really see her face. Also,
It's probably she has the same haircut as that kid from earlier.
because like right now in this lighting in this picture, she looks like Ghostface from Scream.
Oh, that's very unkind.
I'm sorry. I'm just being real, but like,
You're not wrong. You are not. You're correct. But yeah, the senior division rolls on here.
Probably my
Let's move on, shall we? Her feet. Oh, look at you. You're like a fine wine. You get better with age. How you doing?
oh god,
How you doing?
oh,
How you doing? Huh?
it couldn't get more senior than that.
I don't. If they couldn't have scripted this as well. How you doing, honey? Huh?
It's like Alba, check your batteries.
But it gets better.
I had a good line there, won't use it. Folks, as you know, Buck Bagwell is known to have one of the better bodies in the wrestling industry. Tell me, darling, what material would you use to buck his biceps?
what? How would I explain this?
Well, the miracle ear not turned up, but that's okay. I'm
Oh,
Hearing aids not. This is the stupidest question yet. I think.
It is.
What material would you use to Buff's biceps? Satin. Like what?
A better response would be like, I would remove my false dentures.
See, you're giving way better answers than these
Come on,
ladies are. So
come on.
yeah, I guess that's the only way I'm gonna detach my labia and wrap it around his arms like a blood constrictor, whatever the hell.
I would beat it with my prosthesis.
Shout out Mad Dog for Sean.
Yeah, shout out.
Yeah, so still not good. Still not good, in case anybody was wondering.
The fact that they had a senior division just speaks.
They put
Just
them
does it
right
right
by
there.
the speakers too. This loud ass band is playing. Of course they can't hear you. Why not put them by the ring, away from the sound? I don't know.
They all look like, respectfully, they all look like wives you would see on King of the Hill.
What?
Damn it, Bobby.
God damn it, Bobby. Yeah. No, it's.
Oh god.
Well, anyways, we got a little DDP on the way here, taking on Scott Norton.
Hey.
At this point, I'm realizing that DDP is the first guy out here that anybody gives a shit about.
Yes. Yep.
Big reaction to old Diamond Dally, who's getting red hot at this point. We're fresh off him laying out Scott Hall on Nitro with the Diamond Cutter. The Diamond Cutters.
Was that Monday or was it like? Oh,
Yeah.
it was right before this. I remember.
It was like a week or two before this. Like we're pretty fresh off of that, and they
Okay.
kind of redo it here at the end. But
oh god.
the DDP comes out. Flash Norton's here, taking on DDP. You got a problem with Flash Norton?
I mean, I just didn't understand like what type of leather did they use for their singlets? It was like shiny. It looked like duck weird tape on them. It just didn't look right, especially on Scott Norton.
Yeah, it's like It's like faux leather. It's like electrical
Yeah.
tape kind of thing. It's like it's not like made for athletics. It's made for
No,
other
it's
activities.
definitely not. It's definitely not.
Like you see this on a side corner in Amsterdam in like one of those weird sex clubs.
Like in windows, like in the window.
Yeah, where you have to have like a safe word, to strap you up to the machine, and right.
Oh, I guess we've been to the same place.
Yeah.
Sounds
I
like
think you referred me. I think you got a little discount.
Oh man, yep, 69% off.
Oh, speaking of 69, I would love 69 Sting because he's here. I mean, the match is it's whatever. DDP's. I do love DDP's selling here. That stuck out to me because Scott Norton, obviously a big beefy boy, and DDP's like pretty much wrestling himself at this point because he's throwing himself all over the ring,
right,
barrel rolling to the outside.
Was awesome too, like to see like because up until this point we haven't really seen like a good baby face,
Yeah.
Until like you said, DDP, and like he's just working everything. He hits the ropes, he gets hit. He does like 3 or 4 bombs that are just like bouncing off the ring. Like, you forget how athletic DDP really was.
Oh, he's like hopping to the top rope to lunge at Scott Norton. Like he got like even because I've been following this timeline since like mid '94, and even back then when he was like nothing, he was still like whenever he had a match, I was like, oh, this dude like actually gives a shit. Like he's bumping, he's giving effort, like way more than anybody else on the card.
Exactly.
Yes, I guess that's why he organically got over. A big part of it, at least.
For sure. And he's like smoking.
Yeah, he's still got the goofy gimmicks. Like we're not
like
quite
hits like, in between. Like
he doesn't want to give up the cigar quite yet. Hopefully, we're close to that. Hopefully, we're close. But yeah, the whole story going into this is Scott Hall and Kevin Nash were trying to recruit DDP to join the nWo because they both have history with him from their early days in WCW with like or Vinny Vegas, I think.
Right.
DDP was his manager, and Scott Hall, like Scott Diamond Stud. Yes. So he's got history with them. They're friends. They're like, hey, buddy, why don't you join us? And DDP's like, I don't need nobody. I only need myself. And then DDP, he really gave his answer, like we mentioned on Nitro. Gave Scott, he like put on the nWo shirt. Was like, I'm with you. And then he ringed Scott Hall in, gave him the diamond cutter, which is pretty significant because he didn't really see a lot of people getting one over on the nWo up to this point. So, so we're going off of that. The match is going on. You see Sting in the crowd. We're still at this point where Sting is like, is he with the nWo or is he not with the nWo?
He's like being mysterious.
Very rafters. Oh,
dark, foggy. Yeah.
And was that Limp Bizkit or a bird? I don't know. It's a fine line.
Yeah. It's just one of those days.
That's I like the things you're saying to me. By the way, just a quick shout out to Scott Norton's shoulder breaker that he does.
Dude.
That's just like,
because Scott Norton is like a legit wrestler too. Like he was really good up until like doing the whole nWo stuff. Like
he was big in Japan.
Right? And he could really move in the ring. I don't know if he just decided to change his style to have a kind of like a big man, but he definitely could move with like the cruiserweights if he was allowed to.
Right. Yeah. Arm wrestler. He's more of the arm wrestler than the whatever he was before that at this point. But DDP, it's a tornado DDT. Ooh. He's about to get the win, and then Buffy Baggs comes out leading the troops. So it's like him, Wall Street, like Vincent's there. Like
Bubba comes back.
All the supporting cast comes out. Yes. They get in the ring. They're like, but the match is still going on, by the way. The bell hasn't rung. Buff is like, we want you to join the nWo. Did this asshole not watch Nitro? Like, I think he gave his answer.
What happened?
He fucking laid out one of the leaders. Like, I think we know where he's at. And DDP's like, oh, you know what? Now that I've had time to think, I'll join the old nWo. He takes the shirt, puts it on, and does the same exact fucking thing he did to Scott Hall because Buff Bagwell's a stupid idiot.
Right.
Lays him out. And I think he lays out Norton too. No, he lays out Norton, not Buff, right?
Norton. He lays out Norton. Obviously Buff. I think he hits like Bubba or something. I don't know. I know that he also got somebody else.
He caused havoc. He stuck it to him, and then he skedaddled.
Right.
So it's a no contest, I guess. So it's like, what was the point of this match? This could have been a segment.
Exactly. I did like how like he ran up there with the crowd and everything like that.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was cool. But then it's funny too, because then like as he's making his way to the top part of the arena where everyone's sitting, this big dude comes out of nowhere with the NWO shirt. I'm like, who is this? Another member?
Yeah,
no,
recruit him.
He turns around. It's just his security. So like even the security people of the arena are wearing NWO t-shirts.
Well, if they're working the event, you know, it's NWO.
Yeah, I get it.
It's NWO security. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
I think that was just Vincent up there. That's who you were looking at. So,
whoa.
Maybe not. I don't know. Well, the show moves on, and I know what you're at. You all you guys listening, you're like, I need more Miss NWO. Well, just because you asked.
I want to know, would you be willing to dress up with Vince? And if so, what would you wear?
I can't hear you.
What would you wear?
Again, this is probably the lady closest to the band, which, by the way, this is from Peacock. I think they just like missed because they dubbed over the rest of it, but that you could actually hear the band here.
Would you be willing to dress up with Vince? And if so, what would you wear?
I can't hear you.
What would you wear with Vince? Would you dress up? Sexy lingerie, something like that?
Oh, sure. Why not?
Okay, she's...
Do you think she heard the question?
I don't care. I'm done with menopause.
What? That was the barrier to entry to having sex with Virgil.
Oh.
Sexy lingerie.
Well, I mean, this is the senior section, right? This is the senior section still.
So I want you to paint a picture for me, Juss.
Okay.
You see this lady?
Yeah.
Sexy lingerie. What does that look like? Be as graphic as you need to be.
You seen Free Willy, right?
Are we talking Free Willy or Free Willy?
Free Willy.
Okay, yeah.
You know, with the whale and.
Yeah.
So picture her as the whale, then me above, like as the boy trying to guide her to come up, to jump over the. Yeah. So that okay. So maybe that wasn't the best interpretation.
You know what? I can't think of any better answer.
No, Fiona from Shrek, maybe.
It's like she's in the. That's fucked up to say. I was about to say if she's like in between, going from Fiona to Shrek Fiona. You know what I mean? Like it's like she got stuck in the middle of the transition.
Okay. And what would that word sound like?
What word? The transition?
Yeah, the transition from Fiona to Shrek.
Shrek.
Fiona? Fucking Fiona? Okay.
I don't know.
The hair is just not doing it for me here. I mean, this is just a bad rendition of Mrs. Doubtfire. But that's just me, though. And what shirt is she wearing? Actually, you know what? That shirt looks like it's a shirt of her riding a motorcycle.
It looks like Bret Hart almost.
Lorenzo Lamas?
I think it's just a heart.
Walker the Renegade?
It's definitely the Renegade, I think. They're just using his likeness. That's all he's useful for at this point is for silhouettes on t-shirts. She looks like a biker. I think she's the only one here that knows how to ride a bike.
Can you tell? Definitely.
I mean, look at that vest. It fits her like a glove.
I'm feeling Butch Bagwell. I don't know.
Butch Bagwell. You know what? She actually looks like Judy Bagwell.
Oh.
Is this Judy Bagwell? I think it might be Judy Bagwell. We'll have to get our research team to look into this, and I'll get back to you with our findings. But I think there's more. I think there's more to this.
Okay, she's open to it, folks. Let's move on. How you doing? It's contestant number 8, isn't it? Oh my! Now, you know that Scott Norton did not get the nickname Flash for any reason, you know. Now, I want to know, would you help Scott with his flashing problem, or would you just add to that problem?
I'd hope I add to that problem.
Okay, she didn't hear the question either. So if I'm interpreting this right, Scott Flash Norton, he doesn't come too fast. Hey, lady, would you make him last longer, or would you make him come even faster? Lady, that's the question.
Was that the question? Okay, I wasn't sure what the context was.
He's not Flash because he's premature ejaculating.
Hey.
Like what possibly could be the answer?
Oh,
like, no, I'll extend his coitus time.
What the felicity is going on here?
I'm not mad at it, to be honest.
You're not mad? Okay. All right.
I mean,
all right. I'll rock with it. I'll rock with you.
Look, I'm not the judge of Miss NWO, but she's a lead contender, I would say. Not that the field is.
Oh, okay. You would. So the rest of them are just outsiders.
You and your words, the words that come out of your mouth, they just get me right in my cockles.
Thank you very much.
Oh boy! Speaking of outsiders, speaking of outsiders, we got the outsiders, the tag team champions of the world, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, taking on the Steiner brothers, Rick Steiner and Scott Steiner. Now, your mind's been on this match for the past half hour.
For 2 matches.
I'm sure you're eager. You're an eager beaver to get into this hot action. I don't have a lot of notes on this. It's a very long match for no reason.
Uh-huh.
That's pretty much all I got.
You know, the thing is, like, okay, obviously this is like one of like the must watch matches, right? Because it's outsiders, the Steiner brothers.
Yeah.
And you think that they would have good chemistry, but they just don't, right? Now,
Right.
I do think that the outsiders are a good tag team. I don't know if the Steiners, because I don't know, if they were in WWF, I know they were in WWF at the same time, but I don't think they ever wrestled together.
They did early on, like early
Did
90s,
they?
I think. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was brief, but they did. They never really. I don't think they had like a significant run there or anything, but I definitely
just like
seen
a
clips of
one-off,
them.
like on a Raw or something like that, or
Yeah, Superstars, whatever the hell. Yeah, they
yeah, Superstar, yeah,
Action Zone probably. I don't know.
Action Zone, yep. But like, I don't know. It just seemed like the match would go a lot faster. And it just did not. It just like was kind of slow, kind of mechanical at some points.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that Scott Hall seemed like he was the workhorse for the outsiders. He was in there a lot, and he was taking a lot of beating, especially from Scott Steiner. They picked him up a couple times, did a suplex on him, and it's like only one suplex and maybe a backdrop was done to Kevin Nash, and then he goes back to the ring and tags out. It's like
one bump a night, brother.
Yeah,
that's all you're getting
for
from me.
real. For real. And I was mentioning before that Kevin Nash just loves giving sidewalk slams, you know.
Loves it.
Yeah, like you said, it didn't pick up till the end, you know, and I thought like Scott Hall hit it very nice, you know, razor's edge.
The finish was pretty creative because like you said, it was like the outsiders were beating up on Rick Steiner for what seemed like the first like 15 minutes of the match.
Right.
It was just very like generic tag team, heel, cut off the ring type of deal. Felt like it just dragged on too long. But then once Scott got in there, like you said, he's throwing people left and right, you know, he's suplexing Nash and Hall.
Yeah.
Which, you know, is just a sight that you don't see a lot. So it was cool to see. The crowd's into it. His offense at this point is pretty exciting.
Yeah, he hits that pump handle, that double chicken wing pump handle power bomb. I don't know what it's called, but like,
oh yeah, Tiger power bomb.
Yeah, Tiger power bomb, and he does it on Scott Hall, who's that's a big dude.
He's a big boy, yeah.
That's a big boy. And I just thought it was so funny the timing with freaking John Lovitz coming out and saying like, "I'll be the ref and I'll count the 1, 2, 3."
I don't think that was John Lovitz.
No, that wasn't John Lovitz. Oh,
I'll have to review the tape. I don't think that was John Lovitz.
Okay,
it was what the
Joe Pesci.
Randy?
Joe Pesci.
What's his fucking name? Randy Anderson. It kind of did look like Joe Pesci a little bit. Is it Randy Anderson? It's the referee that ended up passing away.
I don't know, but man, I know this is 96, but man, that outfit was stuck in like 84, man. The cashmere turtleneck with the dress pants.
It's just casual. Wait, what do you wear to the wrestling event, Juss? It's a night on the town. Saturday night in Cedar Rapids.
Is that when you have to appropriate attire?
Gonna put on my freshest slack. Yeah, look, it's improv. It's like an undercover referee. You know, it's like in street clothes.
I guess.
It's like he's not prepared to referee, but like if he needs to referee,
but then he taps. What's his name? Rick Steiner, Scott Steiner, or Rick Steiner, whoever is the weird one that said he doesn't like trans people. The one that he taps, and he's like, "Hey, guy, I'm gonna go to be the ref now." And he's like, "Why don't you just fucking go run in there?" You know,
right?
Joe Pesci.
Shout out Joe Pesci, because it's Randy Anderson, and they've like cut to, because they're cutting to the audience throughout the show, showing all the WCW people, and Randy Anderson happens to be one of them. So it's at some point in this match where the Steiners are going for their double team, which at this point is like a doomsday DDT. It's like really gnarly looking.
Yeah.
But Nash knocks Rick Steiner into Nick Patrick, so sending Patrick out to the outside. So he's out of here. Scott Hall hits the outsider's edge to Scott Steiner, but there's no referee.
Right.
It's at this point where Rick Steiner hits a flying bulldog to Scott Hall, and then Joe Pesci slides in. Turtleneck or collared shirt, sweater, whatever he was wearing.
Right.
Gets in there. He has his referee license, so he's able to be a referee. I think that's how it works.
That's how it works.
He makes the pin, and we have new tag team champions, the Steiner brothers.
Let's go.
I mean, by a country mile, the biggest reaction of the night, I think.
For sure. It definitely was. It didn't get the pop that I thought it was, but definitely people were cheering for the Steiner brothers.
Yeah, it's definitely weird to have like this really big victory with no music.
Oh, I know. It's kind of like, it's like pre-ejaculation, you know?
Right. It's like when, it's like ejaculating.
Yeah.
But you like miscalculate it and it ends up on your upper lip, you know, when that happens?
Oh, for sure. And it's definitely not the target that you had in mind.
Right. Like, yeah, I have my feet over my head, but like, I don't want it to go there, but if it lands there, like gravity,
you know,
like,
it just leaves it for just an uneventful rest of the day, you know?
Exactly. It's,
nobody wants that.
Nobody wants that at all. But that being said, Steiner has new tag team champions. And fun moment. And the Steiners and Outsiders, like, this is probably the match that, as far as build goes, there's probably the most heat to it on this card. And the match, it dragged on a little too long, but it had a fun ending. So I was fine with it. Maybe match of the night, you could argue. Well, actually, probably this one. Yes. We got ourselves a ladder match.
Yes.
For the United States Championship. We got the champion, Eduardo Guerrero, taking on Syxx. Eddie Guerrero, X-Pac in a ladder match. I mean, there's no way this could be bad. Fucking, what's his name? Nick Pubes. This is the point. I should have fucking clipped it. Do you remember what exactly he said?
He said the Mexican bean, the jumping Mexican bean, Eddie Guerrero.
It's good. Right? So
oh God.
So he comes out there, Syxx doesn't even have the nWo music. He still has the fucking stock generic rock music.
Yeah.
But
you know what? I will say, even though, Mr. Pubes was doing all the loser and the stupid joke, Eddie Guerrero was unfazed on all of that. Like you see him after that happens, he talks into the camera and says, "You're gonna get a show tonight. I'm gonna blah blah blah." So he's like ignoring the fact that all that is going on, and he knows that his number one job is to put on a good show.
Right.
And it's so funny because maybe other than DDP, but nobody else brought that type of persona in the ring. Yes. Like representing WCW.
No, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
Which is weird because it's like you want to show that this is still your company, and you had like no showmanship, like no pride, you know.
right.
So I thought was kind of weird.
Yeah, no, that's a good. But yeah, I think that's probably another thing that made this show suffer was that there was like no, like yeah, there were title matches, but the stakes involved was like it's not like WCW is battling the NWO. It's
Right.
the NWO is having a show. Like
Right.
it wasn't like a war. It was just like you rascals. Like it was this one long extended like aren't we heels type of thing.
Right. Like they just made it. They wanted to make it seem like an exhibition.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It was like a house show for the NWO.
Right.
But yeah, Eddie, to your point, is here. Has some fire to him, much like DDP had. And that definitely helped this match. And the fact ladder matches are still very new at this point. I mean, at this point, we've only seen the two Scott Hall, Shawn Michaels ones in WWE.
Yeah. At this point, yeah. For the the major ones, yeah.
Yeah. As far as like the mainstream, I don't know if ECW has had any. I don't think they have.
See, I think what's that called? Not One Night Stand. I forgot the name. Whatever the name of their first pay per view.
Barely Legal.
Barely Legal.
Yeah,
I don't think it came out yet.
Right, we're like 2 or 3 months away from that, I think.
Right.
Yeah, it's this year. It's later this year.
Right.
Yeah, isn't that the main event? Isn't like Terry Funk versus...
it's I was just gonna say, but I was gonna say it was a ladder match, but I forgot. I know it's Terry Funk.
It's either Raven or Sandman.
Is it or is it
Shane
Stevie
Douglas
Richards?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't remember.
Okay, I gotta go back and look.
Well, you'll just have to follow the Apron bump.
That's true.
And we'll talk about that later this year.
Yeah,
but yeah,
we'll get to that. We'll get there.
But yeah, no, but it was still, this ladder match being a new concept. People are, I feel like, still experimenting on like the potential of this match. And I do kind of like the almost like primitive, because we're not doing like these complex moves with like the multiple ladders and the ladder bridges and the catapulting off a ladder onto another ladder.
Hardys yet. Not that style yet.
Yeah, it's just a lot of like, here's a ladder, let me hit you with it really hard because it's a big piece of metal, which is like, that's what ladder matches should be,
Right.
A lot, we're climbing the ladder, trying to get the thing. We're not just trying to do these like Cirque du Soleil spots with the ladder. We're trying to win a match and try to use the ladders in a brutal way. A lot of fun stuff in this match. This is awesome stuff. What do you think about it?
Oh, totally. I mean, it's so funny because a lot of people kind of shit on Sean Walton, but when it was his time to go, he was on. You know? And especially like him as Syxx at this point. I know he gets injured, I think, later on in the year, which is kind of like hurts his career in WCW. But like him and Eddie Guerrero, they definitely, I thought, had a good chemistry in this match. And you're right. Yeah. They didn't use the ladder match as much. They just straight up wrestled and then used the ladder to climb up. I mean, Syxx has that move where he does a suicide dive. And Eddie Guerrero was like kind of far. So I didn't know if he was going to make it or not. And like he made it. And, Eddie Guerrero, this is still young. Like he still hasn't really proven himself yet. And so like he's doing backflips. He's doing, all these like suplexes. You can see that he's trying to prove himself here. So yeah, this was a good match. Definitely the one that saved the show.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Did you like that finish though? Did you like that finish?
So what was them both grabbing the belt?
Yeah.
So yeah, they both grab the belt, and then Eddie, he just like knocks over Syxx.
Yeah, picks it up, knocks him over. Yeah.
I thought it was fine. It was kind of a little clunky, but it gave a sense of like, oh, this is a struggle to get this title. Like, yeah, I don't mind it. But yeah, I mean, I have one question. Did 1, 2, 3 Kid ever do the Bronco Buster? Because I think
so.
I think this match might have had the first Bronco Buster.
Oh, you know what? I never thought about that. You're probably right. I know I want to say he started it as Syxx, but it didn't become what it became until obviously it was in D-Generation X.
Right, because I've been watching the Nitros. I don't remember him doing it on a Nitro. Maybe he busted it out on a fucking Saturday night or
yeah. No, you're probably right. That probably was the first Bronco Buster.
Very early Bronco Buster. So
Hey,
that was fun.
hey.
That was some fun stuff.
Come on, let's get some Broncos going.
Yeah,
And again, singlet mania. 2 guys wearing singlets here.
Is that what they're fighting? It seems like they're fighting for some championship gold, but in reality, it's battle of the singlets.
Who has the best singlet? Who has the best singlet?
It's not called a doublet. It's called a singlet. There can only be one. You know what I'm saying? You smell what I'm cooking?
Oh, I smell it. I dig it.
It doesn't smell good. But yeah, there's some fun spots. People getting rammed into the corner with the ladder, sit up in the corner. There's, Syxx. They're on the outside, and Syxx grabs a ladder and sandwiches Eddie in between the ladder and the apron. Yeah. So probably the most visually crazy spot here is they're both on top of the ladder, reaching for the belt. And then Syxx drop kicks Eddie from the top of the ladder. They both go soaring off the top of the ladder. Crazy bump. And that kind of leads to the finish where they both get up there, like we mentioned, grab the belt. They both grab the belt. Belt falls to the mat, but Eddie ends up getting it first. So he is is still retaining the U.S. championship. So, and then cool shot of Eddie takes the belt. He celebrates in the crowd, even though there's no music. It's a really cool visual of that. So,
oh yeah, it's still cool.
Yeah. This, like you said, it's definitely saved the show. I don't know if it was enough to save the show, but it definitely was by far the
other thing too, before we move on to the next one, the pace in this one was nice too, because they were pretty quick.
Yeah.
Versus like all the other matches were kind of slow and methodical.
Right. So. Yeah. Nick Patrick didn't really have a part in this either because it's a ladder match, so there's only so much he can do, and that kind of hindered. Even though it was like kind of funny in the previous matches, is like now we have like a viable, Eddie can win this. It doesn't have a referee interjection. Right. So good. Shout out both those guys. Definitely match of the night.
Shout out.
Well, we gotta put a bow on this bad boy. Everybody's waiting. Guys, who is Miss NWO? We don't need to go through the whole fucking thing. I do actually want to. So I got.
Let's go. We're here. This is why we're here.
The question. Who are the? We've heard these ladies give terrible answers, but we don't know anything about them.
Mm-hmm.
Let's learn, shall we? So we got these. They got these like tail of the tape graphics. For all these are pictures, but like the actual, on the pay-per-view, they come out, they do an awkward little dance, and then they walk back, which is might be the most cringe part of this whole thing. But we got Miss Rachel here, 5'5". We got her measurements, which is just you know what those. I don't actually know. It's like bust, waist, and glutes or something, right?
I think so. Yeah. So chest, waist, and then
thighs, hips. I don't know. Call in if you know. Eyes, blue. Occupation, account banking specialist.
Okay.
Sexy.
Okay.
Hobby, training Rottweilers. Easy now. Easy, Miss Rachel.
Okay.
Not too bad. Not too shabby.
Chewing bones, all right.
Chewing bones. Speaking of chewing bones, we got Miss Lori here. Standing at 5 feet, 36, 25, 36. Brown eyes. Occupation, self-employed subcontractor. Okay, pretty vague.
Okay.
A quote from her: "Men with bowling shirts turn me on."
Oh my.
That's what she went with, huh? That's what she went with. You got any bowling shirts there, Juss?
No, but I think this girl really likes turkey.
What?
Turkey is a bowling reference?
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank God you said something. I would have gone to sleep tonight being like, what the fuck did he mean by that?
Okay. I'm sorry that joke wasn't a strike. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you spared me from having problems with that. You know what I'm saying? Gutter ball. So we got Miss D, the buoyant lass. She's 5'8", 36, 24, 36. Got blue eyes. Occupation is a registered nurse.
Okay.
Her hobby is treating hangovers. What?
Oh, wow.
I
Okay.
said a hobby. This is a Wednesday afternoon. I want to treat some hangovers.
Okay.
Don't worry, we only got 87 more. We got Miss Natalie.
Why are they all Miss?
That's a good question. Yeah, I guess it's pretty understood that they're all gals. You know?
Right. Come on. Sophisticated women.
She's a manufacturing specialist. Don't know what that means. And her hobby is tapping kegs and shooting pool.
Wow.
Interesting.
Uh,
Oh, here we go. We got Miss Becky.
There she is.
So it's not Judy. It's Miss Becky. Look at the measurements on this gal. Occupation is a homemaker, so she does nothing. And her hobby is cooking bratwurst and French fries. What? Why wouldn't it just be cooking? Specifically cooking bratwurst and French fries.
I guess she enjoys those footlongs.
Okay, easy. Miss Becky is a saint. Miss Illa? Miss Isla.
Okay.
Putts and semi-retarded. She's semi-retired.
Oh, wow.
And her hobby is detailing pickup trucks. Yeah, that checks out. That checks out.
Okay. Got some dunk in the trunk? Got some dump in the trunk?
Yeah, you think so, Miss Mary? I don't know, 40, 34, 38. I guess so, huh?
Says something.
We got Miss Mary. She's a grain inspector. A grain inspector.
What is that?
She inspects grain, Juss. Are you not paying attention?
I don't know. I thought just kind of irks my soul now, you know? I botched that. So, okay, go ahead.
No, you nailed it. A quote of hers is "Men in leather and flannel get my motor running."
Wow, she likes Marilyn Manson.
Oh yeah, you could tell. Two more.
Whoa, what's going on here?
Miss Mary, she's excited. Also a grain inspector. Wait, these are the same.
What?
Hold on.
It's the same profile.
Oh, they have the same name too. Oh god damn it. Which one is the real Miss Mary? God damn it, we'll never know. We'll never know.
Something about Mary.
I like it. Marry me, huh?
Miss Jody.
Miss Jody. She's a shipping and receiving clerk.
Oh, I bet.
Why do you say that?
Huh? Something about just like packages.
Yeah, I bet, right? Her hobby is bowling and playing the lottery. Jesus Christ, that is a homeless person hobby if I've ever heard one. Well, that's the field. That's the fabulous
God.
10, fabulous 10, tremendous 10. You know,
Tenacious
10. That's our tenacious 10.
Come on, let's go.
They drag, man. If you think that was drug out, watching this live, it was just brutal. They all come out, they do their little dance, and we don't need to watch the entire ceremony. But the award was this Miss Linda. Is that the winner?
No, Miss Becky. Isn't it Miss Becky?
Yes, Becky. At some point, Eric Bischoff. Yep, hold on, I almost skipped over it. Eric Bischoff makes out with Miss Becky. Pyro goes off in the background. And then they give her flowers and a tiara, right? At some point. A sash. Miss NWO.
Hey.
It's Miss Becky. Walk around the ring.
Show us your stuff. Come on.
The crowd is going wild.
Look at this.
I mean, that is there is a gun pointed at her head. You cannot convince me otherwise. And I did not realize she had that long hair.
What? Let's do this proper. Turn the music off. Keep the video going though.
Yeah.
You're beautiful.
Ooh.
You're beautiful. It's true.
I like it. Oh man. Oh my. I don't know the words. You're beautiful.
You're beautiful.
You could tell she's just overcome with joy. She's brimming.
Oh yeah, she is
with emotion.
Look at her.
She's dreamt of this moment.
This
her whole
nWo,
life.
ladies and gentlemen. Come on.
They got a throne. It's a toilet. I didn't know.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Stop. Is it?
Bro, it's a fucking black toilet. Oh, I hate this. Get it off. Make it stop.
Oh my god.
So overall, Miss NWO, success?
Oh yeah. If you call a toilet your throne, I guess people do call a toilet their throne, right?
So it makes sense, right? It was a good choice.
I don't know how I missed that the first time, but
I did too. I didn't notice until just
my
watching it
gosh.
now. But
Oh my
man,
gosh.
I am just
flabbergasted.
But we'll see if she retains her crown next year. So stay tuned, folks. I'm sure she's back. Oh yeah, is she still around? Probably, right?
God.
Let's Miss NWO 2024. Let's get it cooking.
I think they should bring it back.
I think so. Right?
Come on.
Well, they got the talent now. I mean, if they just wanted to use their roster, they got Medusa and
look at you,
Bull Nakano.
Okay,
right?
Trish Stratus.
Yeah, she's
Linda
nowhere
McMahon.
to be seen.
Linda McMahon's
Yep.
got to be single, right?
Ooh, I mean, probably she's available. That's for sure. Speaking of single, this is the single. It's actually not a bad match. Actually, it's probably one of the better matches. Well,
the beginning of it was okay.
Yeah,
right. Like the first 10 minutes.
There's gray area. There's definitely gray area.
Because the match is short. The match is short.
Thank God, right? The world title is on the line. We got Hollywood Hulk Hogan defending against the Giant. A Giant who has just been excommunicated from the NWO because he dropped the ball at Starrcade. Now, Hogan lost too, but no, Giant, you lost the ball.
Right.
So he's done ski. So he's out for revenge for the beatdown the NWO gave him on Nitro. Like you said, the match is kind of short, but I thought with the time given, actually some semi-decent stuff to it. For a Hogan Giant match. They've had some awful matches in the past. Yeah. But for what it was, you have Hogan is even doing some bumps. He's, to do the double clothesline bit. Hogan's going for small packages. So they're throwing some lucha into this match.
Yeah, they had some arm dragging,
Giant goes for a top rope elbow.
Oh, dude, that was crazy.
It was, and he missed, thank God. And Hogan's using powder to the eyes and all that shit.
Oh my
right?
gosh. He took from the bike, right?
Probably. Bike dust? Bike powder? Is that a thing? Do you powder your bike? Bikers, call in. Let us know.
Yeah, come on. We need to know. Miss Becky's not helping us.
Well, I think Hogan and Giant. I think this dynamic of the Giant being the babyface and Hogan being the heel works.
Yes.
As far as these two wrestlers, because they've switched it up, in '95 and it was dog shit. This was fine. Maybe it's just because everything else on the show was so bad.
Was so bad.
Maybe I'm just so happy that the Miss NWO is over. I'm God damn, finally. What do you think of this match?
My thought was it's so great to see Paul White in his younger days really athletic, right? Because you always most of the people know him as Big Show, right?
Right.
They just see him moving around kind of clunky, but in his younger days. You saw how easy it was to get to the top rope. You saw that he can move a lot quicker. He's a little more agile. Definitely a lot more athletic, right? During that time period. I think he's still kind of green because there's a couple times that he grabs Hulk really wrong. He's trying to shake him, but he grabs his shoulders instead.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, not bad. Not bad. I would say definitely a C+.
The beginning part of this match. Yeah.
Yeah, the
not
beginning
bad.
part. Yeah. We're only talking about the beginning part. Yeah.
And then it goes off the rails because Hogan hits the boot onto Giant. Giant no sells it, which is cool. I mean, he's a giant. Of course, he's gonna no sell it. Hogan slams the Giant, just like Andre.
Yes.
Gives him the leg drop. Giant says, "Not today, sunshine." Gets right up. His hatred for Hogan. He's not going to let one goddamn leg keep him down. He pops up, choke slams Hogan, makes the pin. We're going to have a new champion, but oh wait, Nick Patrick is the goddamn referee, so he just doesn't count, which, of course,
fucks up everything.
We need to have, why not make like Roddy Piper the referee, or like make some neutral, like, keep Randy, keep Joe Pesci in there or something, right? Nick Pubes, what's he doing? He's done for the night. Throw a referee shirt on him. So Giant Patrick doesn't count. So Giant choke slams Nick Patrick. Buff Bagwell's in to save the day. Nope, he gets choke slammed.
Come on.
Then Vincent choke
choke slam.
Wall Street choke slam. Bubba Syxx choke slammed. What? And so Giant single-handedly destroys the entire NWO until he gets a guitar to the back from Hogan, which
Eric Bischoff is like on commentary, and he's like, "I gotta help him. I gotta help Hogan. I gotta help Hogan." And he comes and bring this broke-ass Gibson guitar.
I missed that.
To Hulk Hogan, and he tells him, here's the guitar. Use it. So he uses guitar once, and I don't think it breaks fully the way that he wanted to. Mm-hmm. So he hits him again. So he's out. And then out of nowhere, here comes this wooden chair.
Dude,
if we haven't used enough wood already,
Right.
Oh,
this fucking balsa wood chair that just shatters over the back of the Giant. Cool visual, I will say that. I mean, it's
because it breaks into pieces, right?
Splinters. Nobody wants that, right?
Oh no, come on now.
So the match is still going on, by the way. So the whole NWO, they capitalize on this chair shot. They beat down the Giant. Hogan spray paints the Giant's back. NWO. God. And then that's it. There's no bell.
Yeah.
No disqualification. No Hogan pinning him. Not even like unofficial, he like counts himself or something. No, it's just ha 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 ha. You like that? And like
they're doing the ha ha ha, and then they have the camera right in the face. The pole camera thing, like
right.
So that's what I was trying to do there. Trying to, reenact that. Okay, all right.
It's like I was there.
And that's, I hope the viewers get that as well.
They enjoy it.
It's so funny because like this version of NWO, I just realized what I used to call it. I used to call it the college brochure because it looks like a college brochure, right? You have all the different, ethnicities represented. You got Machachono in there. You have Hogan, all that. Like what a college brochure looks like, diversity.
You're not wrong. They need a disabled, so maybe get Zach Gowen in there or something. And probably some other things. But then that, times change, and but yeah, at the time that's what it was.
Brochures change, and
bro, sure,
Hey.
Well, so that's how the show ends. It ends very underwhelmingly. It ends
flat.
It's not even like anticlimactic because there was no climax to be had. Like any climax that was inside me left me when Eddie and X-Pac were out there. So I was just empty balled, and
definitely when Becky showed up, Miss Becky. Definitely
that's
definitely that time. Respectfully.
Ooh, blood was pulsating when Miss Becky was strutting around the ring, looking all terrified and whatnot.
Oh God.
Sitting down on her toilet. But yeah, that's sold out 97, man. Very just a weird show. Again, I admire their creativity. I admire them taking this chance, but it just didn't hit. Maybe they'll learn. Maybe next year will be better.
Ooh, I doubt it. But
if you had to throw a grade out of 100 towards this show, what do you think you would throw at it?
Oh, 65.
Okay, that's kind of generous.
It's, and I would say just because of the Eddie Guerrero Syxx match.
Okay.
Had it not been for that, this is gonna be a complete failure. I do like the video style of the black and white, the typical NWO stuff, right?
Mhm.
That was pretty cool. The stage was cool.
Yeah.
Right. The
presentation was cool overall.
Presentation was cool. The innovative with the whole camera. So that's why I give it a 65. That's definitely my lowest rating for any stuff that we've done. So
yeah, no, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, those other shows or this show can GETCHO. Hold on. I'll get there. GETCHO, Soul Out, GETCHO. Where can everybody find the GETCHO podcast, Justin? But
Well,
appreciate you coming on and all that stuff. Tell everybody where they can.
of course. I'm happy to be
nipples
here as always. If you enjoy Miss Becky, and all the fine contestants on the Miss NWO that we just watched, you can find me at the GETCHO Podcast on Twitter, GETCHO Podcast on Instagram. We do have available out right now, Wrestling and Chill. We are taking a break until mid-September, just because we got some things going on. But yeah, you can also find us on the YouTube, GETCHO 316. So subscribe to that as well. I'll be posting up some videos soon. But yeah, Kyle, like always, thank you for having me. This is such a good time, man.
Always a pleasure having you. I just know, are those pandas having sex on your hat?
Yes.
Once again, thank you to Juss from the GETCHO podcast for joining me once again on this lovely, lovely show, Sold Out 1997. Always appreciate Juss. Love him. Want to kiss his bald head, rub it all over my body like a big old cue ball. What was I talking about? Oh, hey, you know what we got to do? You know what we got to do? We got to. You still haven't updated the jingle, Bartholomew? All right. Well, hit it. Take off your pants. Hit it. We gotta have a talk. Just hit it. Just fucking hit it. WCW, ECW, WWF. Who's the hardest promotion? Eric or Vince or Paulie? I think we can agree, though it's mostly shit. Stop screaming. Stop crying. All right. Anyways. Hardest promotion battle of 1997 continues. If you're watching on YouTube, I will be walking you through it, sharing my screen and whatnot. If you're listening in audio land, I'll talk you through it as well. So we got WWF, WCW, and ECW. Currently in the lead, we have WCW with 35 points. WWF in second with 13. ECW pulling up the rear, with 10 points. How are these points calculated? Well, we'll walk through it. But first things first, we got a grade of this bad boy. So if you've listened to my 96 episodes, we did a letter grade system, which going through it, it felt a little too generalized. There were certain shows that were like, yeah, they're both C's, but we might have C pluses, C minuses, what have you. So we've shifted to a numerical scale. So we're grading out of 100. So the only show we've covered so far from this year is Royal Rumble, which landed at a 58 out of 100. So not a stellar start. And we got Sold Out here. So what are we grading this? Now the question, because, grades are relative. But I think it's fair to, at this point, to compare it to Royal Rumble. Sold Out is not a good show. It's not going to be above a 60, that's for sure. And Royal Rumble got a 58. I think Sold Out does deserve points for the novel ideas they had. Thinking outside the box, trying something new. I think there is merit to that. But you can't ignore the fact that it was a big old swing and a miss in a lot of different ways. The wrestling just wasn't good. No, you'd have a stupid gimmicky pay-per-view, but at least have good wrestling if you're going to do. It was just the main event really soured me on this show, among other things. A couple non-finishes on this pay-per-view, which doing that on a pay-per-view is ridiculous. The tag team titles was a cool moment, but it just got reset on Nitro the next night or 2 nights after, whatever it was. So not a lot of greats coming out of this. I'm thinking like 50. I'll say 52. Royal Rumble had a 58. I'm going to throw a 52 at Sold Out 1997. So what that means is, reset this, bing, bing, boom. So now we look at each promotion and what their average grade is. We've only had 2 shows this year, so it's not telling us a lot yet. But WWF still has the highest average grade. So we come over to the main scoreboard here, which is where all the magic happens. WWF still in the lead in terms of the highest average pay-per-view grade. So they maintain that category. So they maintain those 15 points. We go to now the best TV. So we're looking at each company. We haven't covered an ECW Super Show yet. But I have been watching the TV, so that comes into account. I've watched pretty much all of January. So which company has the best TV? It's kind of a general, but it's general on purpose. You know, how do their TV shows flow? Do they progress stories? Are they engaging? Is there good wrestling on it? All that stuff into account. And as of right now, it's either WCW or ECW, I would say. WWF has not had a strong start, and like for Raws and whatnot. ECW's actually been pretty good. Fun angles, fun promos. I'm inclined to throw this at ECW. We're tracking WCW right now. There's just a lot of filler on WCW right now. The nWo, they got stuff cooking, but like there's not a ton happening. They're still kind of pussyfooting with the whole Roddy Piper thing. It's all dumb. They like threw away the tape. So now they're pretending that Piper didn't beat Hogan at Stark. It's like entertaining in a way, but we're already at a point in the nWo where it's like, all right, enough. So I think I'm gonna shift this to ECW. ECW, like the promos, like from Taz and Raven, the Blue World Order, which again we haven't really touched a lot on ECW yet this year, but the Blue World Order is blowing up. Plus some good wrestling on. We got Terry Funk, and you know the Triple Threat is emerging with Shane Douglas. The Pitbulls have reunited. Pitbull number 1, spoiler alert. Spoiler. Pitbull number 1 has returned. So there's a lot of good stuff cooking there. Not a lot of good TV around among the 3 companies at all, but I would say ECW is probably the best as of right now. So we're going to go with that. Best in-ring. Best in-ring. I guess WCW keeps this one. Because again, there's not a lot of... I don't know, man. Do I throw it at ECW as well? They're not doing a lot of good match. I'm going to say WCW, and really this hinges on the cruiserweights. And what, like the Lugers and your guys up top that are, having some fun matches. We're gonna keep it at WCW, but nobody's really killing it in ring as of this point. So they maintain those 10 points. And by the way, ECW captured those 15 points for best TV. If I didn't mention that, I don't remember if I did. Best out of ring. So this is characters, storylines, promos, all that stuff. I still think ECW has the most complete show. This kind of ties into why their TV is so good. Like all the threads in between the matches, I think is overall strongest within ECW at this point. So I'm going to say ECW holds on to those 10 points. All right, so now we move on to the best. This section, which is labeled the best. So the best match of the year so far. Currently, we're tracking the Royal Rumble as the best match, which That show didn't give us a lot, so we had to go with the Royal Rumble. I guess Eddie and Syxx takes us over. No, I think the Royal Rumble was still better than that. I don't like having the Royal Rumble as the match of the year, but at this point, I think it is. I have a feeling WrestleMania might change this, so this is a moot point. But we're going to keep it as the Royal Rumble. So WWF maintains that 5 points. Wrestler of the Year. We're tracking Stone Cold. Yeah, nothing on this show. I mean, we're basing this off of Sold Out. Like, has anything changed from Sold Out? Nothing on this show would really sway me. So I think Stone Cold maintains Best Wrestler of the Year. He's having some pretty good TV matches with he's not having good TV matches, but he's an entertaining fixture on TV. Plus the Royal Rumble and all that stuff. Like, yeah, he's again, we're at a low bar here in the beginning of '97. So I think Steve Austin maintains this one. So WWF maintains the 5 points. Best character / storyline. We're tracking nWo. I think when we get to my next ECW review, we might see a shift here. But for now, actually, yeah, I'm just gonna keep it as nWo for now because it's not all good, but there's some threat. You know what? Actually, it's gonna stay it's gonna stay WCW, but I'm gonna shift this to Sting. The rise of Sting, the very ambiguous, like, is he with the nWo? Is he not? It's a very cutting edge, and it's very, even in hindsight, it's fun to watch. So I'm gonna say Sting is the best, but WCW maintains those 5 points. Best segment of the year. So we're tracking DDP giving the diamond cutter to Scott Hall. Well, nothing on this show would be the best. Yeah, I guess. Trying to think what else. Again, I think ECW might shift things here, but we'll stick with that. So WCW maintains that 5 points. Worst. So now we move to the worst section. Worst match of the year so far. We're tracking the Royal Rumble Lucha 6-man tag. Just a debaucherous ball of horseshit. All right. Well, this one's going to be tough because there's a lot of candidates on this show for worst match of the year. Let me pull up my notes here just to make sure I'm not missing anything. I think Buff Bagwell, Scotty Riggs, a strong contender. Let's see what else we got here. Bubba Rogers, Hugh Morris. No, that was pretty good. Jarrett and Wall Street was pretty bad. I don't think it was worse than Buff and Riggs. DDP's Scott Norton. If it wasn't for DDP's stellar performance in this one, bumping his ass off, I might throw this one at it because of the non-finish. Tag team title match. It was kind of boring, but it had a fun finish. Can I just make this Miss nWo? Hogan and Giant. So I think Hogan and Giant. But the match itself wasn't bad. It was just the way it finished. So I don't even think it's fair to throw this as worst match of the year because it's more of like a booking ailment than them actually having a bad match. Like, they went out there and did their job as well as they could have, I think. I'm throwing this at actually the Lucha 6-man was pretty fucking bad. Is that worse than Buff and Riggs? Damn. That's close. It's close. The Lucha 6-man, it was just a very clumsy match with no heat. And it went on really long. Buff and Riggs wasn't as mechanically bad. It was just very boring. And it just accomplished nothing. You know what? I think I might keep it as the Rumble 6-man. Fuck that match. So WWF maintains that negative 3 points. Worst wrestler of the year, we're tracking Crush. Again, just looking through my notes here. Worst wrestler. Worst wrestler. Nothing's really jumping out at me. You could throw Hollywood Hogan in there, but I think his character work, like I think his, from what little he does, I don't think it's terrible for the most part. I think his heel shtick doesn't age well, but I think for the time, because we're trying to like focus in like as if like we're in the time. He's not doing a bad job, I don't think. Not yet, at least. So I think Crush is just awful, dude. He fucking sucks. Stupid piercings. And why is he in the nation? I mean, come on. So WWF maintains that -3 points. Worst character / storyline. We're tracking Fake Diesel, Fake Razor. I feel like they haven't really been on TV. Did they just give up on them after the Rumble? It seems like it's fading away, so I'm inclined to take them off. Worst character / storyline. Again, let me consult my notes. Ooh. I don't know if it's fair to, because we're tracking this as of the date of this event. But the Nitro after, they do the whole deal with Randy Anderson, the ref, where Eric Bischoff fires him, even though he's dying of cancer. So that's the whole thing. We'll get into that at some point, but we're not there yet. So I don't think we can throw that in there yet. Four Horsemen deal's kind of convoluted. I don't think it's the worst of the year, though. I don't think it's in that territory. Nick Patrick. I think I might throw Nick Patrick in here, man, just because he just gets in the fucking way. He doesn't add anything. He's having wrestling matches. Like, what are we doing with this dude? He had some funny moments on this show, but overall, he's just a wart on the NWO and what they're trying to accomplish. So I'm going to throw Nick Patrick, and now WCW takes over that -3 points. Worst segment of the year. Well, this one, so we were currently tracking Todd Pettengill's little interludes during the Royal Rumble event, random interviews in the crowd, like in the middle of matches that meant nothing. But I believe this is overtaken by Miss NWO. I mean, that is the easiest decision I think I've ever made in my life. So WCW takes over worst segment of the year, so they gain -3 points. Man, big shifts here. Big shifts. So that concludes that. So the update to the scoreboard. We have a new leader, ladies and gentlemen. ECW. Somehow, even though we haven't covered a pay-per-view yet, they are in the lead with 25 points. WWF in second with 19 and WCW with 14. So we had a complete shift. WCW was in first. Now they're in last place, but we're still early in the year. You know, we're still kind of setting the table for this scoreboard. So a lot of these shifts are going to happen a lot. So, but of course, lots of year to go and lots of kisses to give you. Appreciate you guys tuning in. That about does it. That's about all Daddy has for you today. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Love you all. Like the podcast, review the podcast, give me a like, give me a subscribe. Kiss me on the nipple until it's turgid. Do all of those things. And with that, I'll bid you adieu. I'm hard.
Yeah. And the hardest, talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what hard is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started. It's the hardest. Talk around and disregard it. Strip you off the ground, show you what hard is. Standing strong and proud, nothing can knock it. Let's get it started.